boy, crazy boy. Stay loose, boy. Breeze it, buzz it, easy does it. Turn off the juice, boy. Go, man, go. But not like a yo-yo schoolboy. Just play it cool, boy. Real cool. Bum, 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 bum. Mambo!
All right, so today we're talking about
Star Wars.
Yeah, it's another episode of Half a Clue Movie Review. It's our musical episode, Battle of the Musicals. This has been surprisingly a year for musical films, especially musical theatrical film adaptations.
2021.
And I mean,
Pig.
What's it called? I mean, not for box office, but like in terms of just being released and quality too. It's like this has been one of the better years.
Yeah, like Pig.
I would say with few exceptions. I mean, they were pretty good this year.
I think there's Barb and Vista Go to Del Mar or something. I forgot what it was. It had Jamie Dornan singing too.
Wasn't that an old movie?
No. Jamie Dornan is not that old. Jamie Dornan. There was a movie that came out this year.
Isn't that the guy from 50 Shades?
Yeah. And Belfast.
Belfast.
Belfast, the best musical of the year, Philip.
Yeah, smashing performance.
Kenneth Branagh, you should have just made it into a musical.
Yeah. Also, I was very surprised that Come On was not a musical. I just figured from the name that it was going to be a musical.
Why? The director also never made musicals too.
Yeah, but I don't care about that. I'm just saying the name Come On sounds like the title of a musical.
Does Last Night in Soho not sound like a musical?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
That sounds like it could be a musical.
The downtown song.
You know what doesn't sound like a musical? Tick, tick, boom. I'm just kidding. That's
All right, so yeah, the main three musical films that came out this year, not including animated. So Sorry Vivo, Sorry Encanto, which are cool on their own right. Also by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah,
who did like four fucking things this year. That guy's just like needs to.
He's impressive. Yeah.
Chill the fuck out. It's so it's In the Heights, which came out earlier, by Lin-Manuel Miranda. Tick Tick Boom, which is directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda. And it's an adaptation of Jonathan Larson's solo piece, which became readapted into a Broadway musical. And the West Side Story 2021, a remake directed by Steven Spielberg of the 1961 classic film.
Which also, just to mention, is one of Lin-Manuel Miranda's greatest inspirations.
Yep. Yeah, that and Jonathan Larson's Rent.
Yes.
Yeah, those two big ones. Yeah.
So, this is going to be a very Miranda-heavy episode.
I mean, even though I knew Miranda liked Stephen Sondheim, and even though Jonathan Larson was a big Stephen Sondheim fan.
Yeah.
By the way, R.I.P. Stephen Sondheim, you made great shit. I'm sorry that Into the Woods was butchered, like by Disney.
What don't they butcher, though?
Yeah.
Star Wars.
What's it called? But
Marvel.
So but ultimately, hopefully you're looking above, and you're looking. See, I'm happy that your lyrics lived on, and especially in 2021, a new generation could see, your work continue.
Yeah. So I've got a question for you guys to start off. Do you think that Lin-Manuel Miranda is kind of carrying the torch now for Broadway musicals in general? And he's kind of taken that position that Stephen Sondheim really occupied for a long time, and Jeremy Larson almost occupied.
I'm going to say I legit don't know enough about musicals or Broadway to comment on that.
Andrew Larson.
I would say the exact same thing.
Jonathan Larson.
you fuse Andrew Garfield and Jonathan Larson.
Yeah.
He was Andrew Larson. What's it called? Yeah, Jonathan Larson. I mean, I can't even say, because he literally only did Rent. I mean, he did other shit that wasn't on Broadway.
You know what I mean?
He could have been. Yeah, he could have been.
It's sadly cut short.
I like I said, he didn't take over that mantle, but he could have. If he had made it further.
It's hard to say.
It was like Andrew Lloyd Webber, then it was Stephen Sondheim, and these are very broad strokes for musical theater fans. Mm-hmm. There's obviously other ones.
Yeah, we are not musical theater experts. We want to get that just straight off the bat.
And people who don't know Andrew Lloyd Webber, he did I think Cats and Phantom of the Opera and stuff.
I mean, Blake did star in West Side Story, so
yeah, it's like the.
So star is a huge word, by the way.
Oh yeah, no,
I stole the show. High School.
Dox me, you fucking Jason. Cut out that part, Jason.
No, it's fine to get doxxed. It's the internet.
So I was Star is a huge word.
Wait, what do you mean docs? In our Instagram page before we helped with that shit, you put film production company from Diamond Bar.
Whatever.
You're worried about it now?
Actually,
Starred in is a
me.
huge. I would just like to clarify that starred in is a huge word for was in. Yes, I was in West Side Story. I played a shark. I really wanted to be Riff. That's actually, I'm not even much of an actor. It's like in terms of production, that's like my least desire is to act. However, low key has always been kind of a dream of mine to play Riff in some version of West Side Story. But I was a shark. I had one line. I'll recite it right now.
Yeah, they had to tell him to take his
Get him! That was my one line. But it was fun. It was a great experience. I mean, I was a freshman in high school, so I wasn't exactly going to get a huge role or anything. But, it was a fun experience. And I do love West Side Story. Should just make that clear.
What's it called? The Diamond Bar High School adaptation being a great experience? I doubt that. Yeah. What's it called?
It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
I see. I saw the recordings for the Diamond Bar High School one. It was burning my eyes.
I also helped build the set
It's a high school production.
Have you seen the high school productions for West Side Story? Like when they put it on, it's like fucking great.
From where?
Yeah, Rachel Ziegler?
That's how she got cast.
Actually, she wasn't performing West Side Story.
She's Maria from West Side Story.
So,
I see.
So actually, I was incorrect about that when I
no, she actually
no, but
well, not in Broadway.
But the audition tape that she sent in, or that they found her in, wasn't for West Side Story. It was for another musical. I'm not sure which one.
No, she's saying she also sent in videos of like Shallow and stuff. Her singing. Yeah. No, I'm saying, but no, she was in a high school production for West Side Story. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a video of her singing "I Feel Pretty," which sounds like just like how she does in the film, which is insane.
I think our show is pretty good, by the way.
You mean our show?
No, the Diamond Bar one. I don't think
the Diamond Bar show?
I don't think it was bad. I think it was good. I think there was two casts. I think one of them was a little better than the other, but so maybe it depended.
I mean, like,
it's a public high school. I'm like, fuck, I don't know. It didn't hold it up to that high standards.
Honestly, let's just say this. Like, I don't want to say the racial demographic of Diamond Bar High School, but people who went there know it. They shouldn't have done West Side Story. Let's just say that. Okay.
It's a beloved fucking.
I mean, I don't know. We also did, what is it, Fiddler on the Roof in my high school. I'm just saying.
Beloved as fucking West Side Story. It's like a fucking holy grail.
Anyways, I love West Side Story.
Okay,
and
let's
that's
get into
probably
these
part
movies.
Of the reason why.
How about that, huh?
All right, so the first film we're covering is In the Heights, which came out in the summer, June 10th, 2021.
In the Heights.
Directed by John M. Chu, who is known for directing Step Up to the Streets, Gem on the Holograms, which was his admittedly big splatter, G.I. Joe Retaliation, and recently cemented his Hollywood status as in directing Crazy Rich Asians, which I'm assuming no one else has seen, right?
I saw the second half.
Dude, it's the best.
It got recommended
movie
to me so many times that I just eventually ended up watching it.
You actually ended up watching it?
Philip,
yes.
I saw the second half.
Don't ask me what I thought of it, but yes, I ended up watching it.
I watched the second half. That doesn't count for anything.
No, it doesn't. So, and then
I can guarantee you I know what happened in the second half.
But quite honestly, the only reason I ended up watching it is because it ended up in my recommended feed for like 2 months straight, and then I was like, maybe
this Max, right?
Yeah, maybe this will disappear away if I watch it, and then I'll never have to look at it again.
That's how you watch it? That's interesting. I'm not even a biggest fan of that one, but I am a big fan of not a big fan. I definitely was a directorial talent to look for, like in terms of like like how he presents style, his camera movements, the visual language that he creates with the editing and stuff. Well, I mean, even though he's not in charge of that, and he's definitely really good, I think. So, and he definitely knows how to capture dance really well in films. So when he was announced, I was like, okay, that's a good choice. Like, and then, the opulence of Crazy Rich Asians could somehow translate to this in a weird way for a musical theater adaptation.
It's crazy, dude.
So they're rich.
But it's based on, the Broadway musical by Lin-Manuel Miranda, In the Heights, which is also written by, who wrote the screenplay for this. I think Kiara. I'm so sorry, but if you're listening to our podcast, actually, you are. I'll just say QAH. I'm really sorry.
That's all I have to say is she's listening. Wow.
Because I couldn't find that many interviews of like them pronouncing her name, and then she wasn't even in that many interviews. It was just like Lynn talking the entire time. What a selfish prick. You know what I mean? Just hogging all the attention.
Lin-Manuel also made he made like some other play or something, right? Like he didn't do something else.
Yeah,
Like-
he did a
it's-
thing
it's-
called Hamilton.
Oh
that
yeah,
little
yeah,
indie game.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard of that.
Just a little tiny production.
That
Not like
came
it had a
out- that shit
nationwide
came out
tour or
this
anything.
year, right? Or was it last year?
The Disney Plus version, yes, yeah,
It was this year.
and it was awesome.
It was good. It was good.
It was really good.
Mhm.
I mean, if we're gonna, if we, I'm just gonna say, like, I'm not the biggest musical fan, although I do like musicals. I'm very open
sure?
to them. Yes,
Okay.
I do. But if
Wait till the
we
end.
had ranked Hamilton in here, that would have been like my number one for sure in the museum. I fucking love it.
I love Hamilton,
So-
but
It's
Uh,
brilliant.
Do you know which cast they had for the Disney Plus version? Was it
The original.
the original.
Okay, it was
Yeah.
the original Broadway cast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there was also a traveling national cast, and
Mhm.
a couple of the members from that cast did appear in all three of these films.
Oh,
Yeah. No,
Interesting.
she was. It was the original cast. Yeah, that one. We're not including that because it's like
yeah,
it's a recording.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a recording.
Yeah. So and one day, I mean, there's rumors that Ryan Coogler will direct the.
I imagine
Yeah,
it'll
adaptation.
definitely be adopted one day.
Oh no, it will be. It's like
Probably
the-
shouldn't. I'll say.
I'll say, no, I can see it doing well.
They could do it, and
Yeah.
I think it could be really cool. But I don't know, man. I feel like the cards are stacked. But whatever. Let's get into these.
All
This
right,
one.
so the basic premise about this is it's summer in Washington Heights, New York, and you know it's our main character. We follow our main character, who's Navi, who's thinking about returning back to the Dominican Republic and starting off creating his sueño or el sueñito.
That's Juanito.
Yeah, and starting over there while also following the lives of Nina Rosario, who was a Stanford University student, and coming back to find out her dad has just like sold fucking half of all of his business to just support her educational endeavors.
Yeah, and she's
For
like,
her
hey,
to-
fuck you.
Basically like,
Miguel
fuck
Prado-
off.
Miguel Prado stands up. Well, then fuck you.
Yeah,
He's kind of dressed like in the Miguel outfit.
yeah, he does.
I mean,
Yeah, actually.
Yeah,
And then,
Jimmy Schmitz, I think, was the perfect casting.
Yeah, he was great.
Yeah, he
But
was
Jimmy
like-
Schmitz is great in literally everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he farts and he's amazing. Yeah. So and then Vanessa, who is Uznavi's love interest, she dreams of being a what's it called? A downtown New York fashion designer,
Which
which was
that
not
wasn't
in the original.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
wasn't
was
in the original. Yeah.
Yeah, they gave her a little bit more in this one. And at the same time, you know, Abuela is just overseeing all of this mess, and Benny is working at the dispatch. And it's just pretty much the lives of all these characters in this.
Yeah.
And there's no actual surprise, like, you know, rare for a lot of these musicals is there's no villain.
Yeah.
There's no villain. The external the conflict all comes from
Yeah.
Gentrification
So-
is the villain.
Actually, I did have a couple things that some of my friends who are into musical theater or have basically seen
These
productions.
mystical friends.
No,
Yeah,
no,
I'm just kidding. I know.
who have
Okay.
seen productions of In the Heights, and they mentioned a couple of things to me, and one of those was that the Benny Nina storyline was actually a lot more complex in the actual stage production, and Nina's father was actually kind of racist towards.
Oh,
Benny.
yeah.
yeah.
But I think they had to cut that out.
Yeah, they
because,
kind of cut it out quite significantly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you kind of had to because it's like once
Yeah.
again the play and stuff. Yeah, and then they weren't like in the film they were just a couple.
Yeah.
They were a couple before it broke up, then became a couple again.
Mhm.
But in the play, from what I remember, is they became a couple as the play went on.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
So
I
I-
prefer this version because it's just like faster. It's
Mhm.
like, you know, just
Yeah.
you get through a story real safe.
And
out.
nobody's
Yeah,
racist in this
I
one.
feel like they wanted to focus on Usnavi a little bit more.
Yeah.
And also, one thing that I noticed was just the duets between Nina and Benny.
Yeah, see, I'm watching that again because I was watching it in clips and I have it like on
Yeah.
other platforms. I haven't seen it on HBO Max. I was
Yeah.
watching it and stuff. I don't know. Okay, so I want to hear your complaint. So Miles has a
Okay.
complaint about the dubbing, particularly for the lip syncing for the
So,
Nina and Benny's
I
duet.
think it was more so the performance that they were giving while they were doing it. It was like they were almost like just like singing their lines kind of silently and not really hitting that range that they're hitting in the dub that they had over it. And you can see in their mouth movements and in the way that basically you can tell when somebody's singing and hitting higher notes or hitting a larger range.
Yeah.
You can see it in their face, and that just wasn't visible in their faces. So because Nina had a lot of range in her songs, it really just kind of I got disconnected there. I don't know how else to put it, but
I don't know.
I just felt that way.
I see where you're going with
Yeah.
this. For me, I guess it wasn't much of a problem because one, I guess like the lips actually matched.
Yeah, well, the lips matched. It's just that
and
like
also
the volume didn't match or the range.
And I feel like
didn't
that's
match.
what, like
I
normal in a lot of like.
agree.
There's like that's no. I feel like that's normal in a lot of like film adaptations though, because like what's recorded and what's not, and like what dramatically works.
I slightly agree, but it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you. But I do know what you're saying. Yeah. There are certain scenes.
It was
like,
mostly,
only for the Benny. I can see that for the Benny
and Nina duets. There were a couple of duets between them.
Like I don't know. I know what you're saying because that kind of I noticed that too, but for whatever reason, it just didn't bother me that much.
Do you think Benny would have been the Jets?
Really quick side tangent. You chose the worst picture of Jimmy Schmitz you possibly could have for this.
I did.
Yeah. We have, by the way, for audio only listeners, who's everybody, is that we have cheat sheets with a character design. This one we had a lot because there's a lot of different characters. And
Miles single-handedly picked out the worst fucking picture of Jimmy
try to
Schmitz
include it
ever seen in my
on the
life.
video in YouTube. Okay,
this is such a terrible picture of Jimmy Schmitz.
Actually, that's a reward for our Patreons. When we get Patreon, we'll post up our cheat sheets and our notes for you guys to look at.
I mean, for me, I think what stood out from with this film is like obviously this is not including Hamilton and stuff like that, and technically even in Broadway this preceded Hamilton. Well, this is like I guess essentially a hip hop musical, and that
that's not hip hop.
What's it called? And with like the lack of villain. I mean, most musicals have villains, right? Or like some type of external physical character threat. But this one, like as he uses like gentrification or just personal life drama as the villain, and in a weird way that's kind of refreshing. Yeah,
that's apparently fun. In the musical version also. It wasn't just the external villain of gentrification, but during like the blackout scene and stuff, there was there was a riot and things like that. It wasn't just people like playing with fireworks and being all happy and stuff. It was a little bit more violent, and they ended up destroying the store. And it was like
I know, and that part was cool in the thing.
Yeah, and they cut that out of the movie.
And I think you kind of needed that in the not in the film, in the play, because like it just like for production value wise.
Why not? Why not in the film? Just curious, because I feel like
that could have something.
Because like one, you just have to spend more time on the ramifications, the fallouts of it, and just add more to the running time. And they have budget.
But I feel like they build up to the blackout so much that like. Some more fallout would have been needed.
Doesn't the play end almost immediately after the blackout?
No, there's like another 45 minutes almost.
No, I mean like
in the play.
In the play.
No, there's some couple of stuff afterwards.
Well,
you're right.
Yeah, they really extended out.
Yeah, the play. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not right after. There's still a couple songs, but in retrospect to the length of the play stuff, well, somehow you guys find the Emmanuel recording of the thing. I had to it's just really fucking hard. Please make that more available. For Broadway recordings, and that one it was near close to the end. It was like the climax of the film, and then it went on. But this one is more like a legacy, legacies, generational immigration experiences that comes out, and they added a lot of different elements. So I feel like it wouldn't have worked in this one.
Well, they added the storytelling element, which I think does.
They also added the
DACA
stuff, right? The immigration with Sonny.
There was a lot of stuff that they added to this. And I feel comfortable with them doing that actually because Lin-Manuel Miranda was so involved in the production. He even starred in it and sang one of the songs. He played what was that drink that the
Piragua.
Piragua, yeah.
Piragua.
Piragua. Yeah.
Piragua.
Yeah. Which honestly, that's one of my favorite songs in the film.
Oh, so good segue.
Yes.
So what is it? Okay, so before we get in nitty gritty, what is everyone's favorite songs from this film? Whether you like this or not.
The end credits. No, I'm just kidding. No, I didn't hate this movie at all. I don't know. I like the 96,000 song. It's just the one that's
I agree. That's my favorite.
That's the best piece.
Yeah, it stands out in my head so much. It's the one that I wanted to listen to as soon as I got out of it. There were other songs I did enjoy as well, but that one just stood out.
Yeah,
I think that one.
The others.
There's a couple of changes. Like that one, in the original, from whatever they mentioned, Donald Trump instead, right? Or did they? Or was it? And they changed it to Tiger Woods?
In the original, they mentioned Donald Trump. In the
remake, they put Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
And then instead, I think they added Kenobi.
I wonder why.
Kenobio.
Kenobio.
Yeah, which is like...
really didn't change up
That
a
much.
lot in terms of like the songs.
Yeah. It's just like slight little changes every now and then.
They did change who sang certain songs too. I believe that they gave an extra song to who was it? I'll remember maybe at some point. But yeah, they switched around who sang some of the songs. But other than that, yeah.
But yeah, let's go. For me, it's 96,000 was there, and then Piragua. Honestly, I don't know why. Maybe because Lin-Manuel Miranda singing, and it was just
It's a fun sequence. I think it might be the most fun sequence of him just jumping on top of the other thing, and like the guy's like yelling at him.
His vocal performance was fantastic too.
Yeah, I mean, Lin-Manuel's got a great voice. It's weird because it's kind of nasally, but it works.
Yes, it works with the film.
It's like I feel like he wouldn't have gotten to star on any kind of stage play if he wasn't writing it himself.
Yeah. No, that's
know.
not true. I mean, he was in Tick Tick Boom and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, he originated the character as Nabi, like in the play. So he was.
Well, he wrote it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he wrote it, but he was also the lead. In
I know. Like in Hamilton as well.
And it was
saying
fairly successful. Yeah.
Like because it's his super nasally voice. Like
it works.
No offense, Lynn. Sorry, I love you, dude. I
I'm
really
sure
do.
he's not listening.
I personally like it.
We're gonna email Lynn after this.
Yeah, what's it called? Super talented guy. I like his weird nasally voice, and it's good.
God, you sound so mean.
What's it called? And it's great. No, I know you're on Lynn. If you're looking at this, I'm actually a super fan. I've like.
Yeah, no, I really am a big fan, dude.
Yeah.
Main reason why I watched Tick Tick Boom, like even though I like Jonathan Larson, it was because I was just curious about your directorial debut. I'm speaking as if he's here. But you're great.
I'll do Lin-Manuel. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do it.
Another one that's a big standout is for me is Paciencia Ife.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Paciencia
That is my favorite song throughout the film.
Yeah, that one's like, actually, you know what? Not even 96,000. As much as I love that one, it's just like for emotionally, I think that was like the peak of the film where I felt it, like, and just a visual sequence of like as she's going through like the struggles that she went through in what's it called back in she's from Dominican Republic in the film, right?
She's from Cuba.
Or Cuba. Okay, it's from Cuba. Which is talk about her troubles in Cuba, and you have all these dancers in the background as she's walking with like the what's it called, this neon color hallway as it's going in and out as she's transitioning to the next life.
It really does feel like it also captures a lot of that
magical realism of like this play and stuff.
I was gonna say like the Hispanics, immigrant kind of stuff, where it's just like Paciencia Ife is like, it really does feel like something that is echoed across a lot of the generations and stuff. Just like patience and faith. It's just like a big part of it.
She was also. I just want to talk about Olga for a second.
She was the original, right?
Yeah, she was the original Claudia in the stage play as well.
Yeah, I didn't like when I saw her. I was like, I don't know how they were gonna like that. I don't know how many like amazing. Actually, then again, I mean, I don't think like someone
she
like
won a Tony for her performance in the stage play.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know how you could replace her.
It's hard.
Rita Moreno.
I don't think she would have worked. You know what I mean?
No, she doesn't have that quite like classic abuela look to her. That Olga Mercedes.
No offense, Rita. Like in a good way, is you look insanely well even for your age.
Yeah.
You be distracting as abuela. Not gonna lie. Yeah. What's it called? But you were great as Vanessa, right? Or Vanessa in the I forgot Valencia.
I think we can all agree that Rita Moreno's great.
in the West Side Story remake.
Yeah,
the basic dog character. Yeah, and then it's what's it called, and then the sequences and like the kind of his commentary on the immigrant experience and the new added elements of the DACA and Sunny storyline with George J. Lo's ex, and how like he might be deported and stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Well, and I mean they also changed up Nina's storyline significantly to reflect that and to work with it.
Yeah, and also like like her having her own experiences of how like she feels an outsider even though she was actually born here, but she still feels like an immigrant, and how that generational immigrant experience is it's pervasive.
Yeah,
and it's cool. I think it did a real cool job, and then by just removing external threats and just focusing on the characters, it created like I said, it's not the most like tense musical I've ever seen. We're not seeing people snapping and in the streets punching each other.
There's no gangsters snapping.
Not enough knife fights,
Yes, exactly. But it's kind of refreshing in a way. It's a perfect summer musical. I mean, it's literally placed in summer.
Yeah, and I like that they do play that up. Like it's like really, really hot, and it shows the temperature, which I like a lot.
Yeah, and subtle things like of the different economic displacement for some of the characters and how they're segregated to Washington Heights because, you know, their disposable income is not enough to go to somewhere like downtown or Upper East Side Manhattan. With Vanessa, that's the character, which they added a lot to incorporate those themes into this one with that one song. And same thing for, you know, another character getting economically displaced is Uznavi, right? Who he can't do, you know, he's not able to do his El Sueñito business as well.
Dream.
Yeah, his dream, right? As well in here.
El Sueñito just means dream, and that also wasn't as prevalent in the musical.
Means
they
little
really
dream.
Played it up a lot in the movie.
Like any cinematic adaptation has to do, right?
It feels like it's the drive of the movie a lot.
And then he, you know, him going back to Dominican Republic to, you know, open that up and do it there, showing just like the economic hardships of New York. I just recently went to New York not too long ago, and gosh, I was looking at the apartment prices, not because I might eventually move there one day, but I was like, just looking at the apartment price for like a little shithole. It's like the size of Miles' restroom right now. It's like like $1,000. And I'm just like, oh, okay, shit.
It might actually be cheaper to just like rent a hotel room for the month.
You know what, Philip? Paciencia.
I know. No.
Probably not. But
no.
Yeah.
I know. Let's just say that I got killed with a week of Airbnb.
Yeah.
Fucking New York. What's it called?
I also just bought tickets in a Airbnb for New York as well.
Don't say this. I'll ask you after.
Yeah. I can tell you the address. I can tell you the days we're going.
Yeah. What's it called? It's yeah, and so I did like that. It's not necessarily subtle, but it is prevalent, like in terms of like just constantly going up. Yeah, I guess my main criticism would just be, and also last thing, my main criticism is a celebration of culture. Right, embracing it and how tight knit the community felt. Like after Abuela died, everyone had like, I mean, even though it might not be super realistic of one Abuela dying and everyone having like candles and stuff, but in the film they played up her importance pretty well. And you know, everyone had candles, and immediately afterwards you had I think is the character's name Daniela, right? The salon owner. Yeah. So and then what's it called? And she's getting everybody to just be more riotous and celebratory and. That one actually did a lot like a Carnival, and just that being a constant thing too, like a celebration of culture and heritage, and
great vocal performance on that one specifically too.
I just realized this is the most like Hispanic Latino heavy episode we're probably ever gonna do.
No, not until we get to Alfonso Cuarón and Guillermo del Toro.
I will say, I don't speak Spanish, and even though there were no subtitles, I still felt like I understood. You know what they were saying, what they were talking about.
We are an expressive people. We let you know.
It's better than I'm not gonna lie. You know, I'm sorry for my fellow Korean brothers and sisters. If they made this like a Korean version of this, it would be boring as fuck. You wouldn't understand anything because you'd be like, oh, 죽을래? Oh, 안 돼.
I want to see a Korean musical now.
No.
Are there Korean? I mean, there has to be Korean musicals.
They're just not amazing. I mean, we're good in honest. You know, obviously, people who like K-pop. Right, and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely...
Maybe wait like 6 hours in the car while she's at the K-pop concert. Just, what's it called? BTS recently. Fuck, dude. The traffic getting out of there 5 hours. We had to leave early one of our podcast episodes to fucking get to Licorice Pizza on time. Oh, God, BTS traffic. And that's a whole segment, Jason. Put that in there.
You guys remember Obama traffic?
When Obama was in town.
Okay. I'm not even really quick side tangent because when the fuck else is this going to come up? Obama traffic is no joke, dude. One time I went to Santa Monica while Obama was in town. Obviously he was still president at this time. And let me tell you, coming back took like 6 hours.
I would have just stayed in a restaurant or something until like that passed.
No, I had something to do at my house.
Would you have been able? Wait, so
we made it. Time? So we got there, realized how fucked it was because it took a long time to get there.
And you guys know he was in town?
Yeah.
You guys went to go see him?
No, we didn't go to see Obama. We were just going to Santa Monica to like fuck around.
Well, Obama's in town?
Yeah.
What foolhardy is this?
What?
You're really bad at planning, aren't you?
It was a last minute thing. I mean, it was a bad idea, but it took hours to get back home.
Yeah, I thought you.
They
know
shut
by
down,
now,
like, certain
Blake doesn't
streets.
make plans. He kind
Oh,
of just
I
shows
know
up
this.
places.
I know this by
Plans.
running a podcast with them. I know he doesn't make plans.
I make
Put
plans.
you on blast. What's it called?
All right.
What's it called? Hey, I know, no secret. I'm a mean guy. So like just before this, I was like going through his notes. Like you didn't put any fucking notes.
No, you're actually confirming that I
What's it
did
called?
write notes.
Yeah.
He's like a teacher grading his shit.
I was actually a teacher for not too long ago. What's it called? So I mean, yeah, but one of my main criticisms would be, and it's not even huge, but I guess nitpick. Yeah, the strength of there being a lack of an external threat is also a criticism because like it's there's not much like narrative tension or dramatic tension.
I was gonna
between
say
what's happening.
that's like pretty much my biggest criticism is I think that something I feel like this was missing some teeth. Like I feel like there was a little bit, there should have been that more like dramatic tension, like you're saying, because like it just felt very light, which there's nothing wrong with it, but I feel like they're also throwing in like some tougher themes, like with the like her getting expelled, her getting searched and stuff, and it just at times it felt jarring. Like it felt like the tone almost felt off at points.
She didn't get expelled. I thought.
No, she
She
didn't
doesn't get
expelled.
expelled. She gets
She drops out.
Yeah,
Because
she
she
drops out.
doesn't want to pay for. The
And she felt
education.
like an outsider,
I think she
right?
did
Yeah.
lose her scholarship though, in the musical. I don't know.
Not in this one.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I feel
don't
like
know.
that would have just been like unnecessary shit.
Yeah,
to add.
there was like something about her losing her scholarship in the musical,
Yeah.
and that was kind of like the driving force instead of the kind of racism things.
I like the awkward dinner table where Jimmy Schutz is like, well, too bad, I already paid.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus, Benny, you couldn't have picked a worse
I
time
know.
to bring
I
this
was
shit
like
up,
mad
dude.
at that character. I was like, are
he's
you
just,
fucking kidding
like,
me?
Wait till
Right
after
now?
dinner.
Well,
Right now?
that's because they needed to create that
Yes,
conflict and
I know.
tension between Jimmy Smits and
No,
I know,
I know.
but that's
Obviously,
what
it's-
I'm saying is it
because
felt
the things that they
off.
changed up. Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
like
Actually, no.
I think it's fine. I think it's fine.
Because at that point, I think
It's-
like he was Benny was at a breaking point, right? Every character has that.
Yeah.
It's a writing
It's
term,
fine.
right?
It's
As
just
a low
like,
point.
if
'Cause,
Benny
like,
were a real person, I'd be like, bro, what the fuck?
there's people like that. Let's just
Yeah.
say this. I don't want to say who it is because I might get fired. But let's just say a certain employee I know is like this. I mean, you were laughing because you know what I'm talking about. Let's say it.
I know. I'm just but I think what Blake is
Like
like
I'm,
we're
I'm
saying
not
is
even
like
joking.
for
Just
real.
recently,
though.
that employee was like, he was like, he
You
talked.
sure you want to say it?
Yeah, no, I would say this. Like,
You're gonna get fired.
I'm just gonna like as vague as possible with saying like, oh yeah. By the way, this person like stole money from you and had an affair with like blah blah blah.
Oh my god.
It's not anyone related to it, but it was like that person was there and I didn't know about it, and then like they just said it and
That's
everyone was there.
incredibly
Oh,
awkward.
snap.
And then it's just like, oh my gosh. I mean, this is a Benny moment. I'm just kidding. I was thinking that time. But yeah, Benny feels like that type of character. And also Benny, I guess, was like super frustrated at this point because like he lost his job.
Yeah, I get
I may
that.
And
not have
he's,
a
like,
job tomorrow, but I have one tonight.
And it was already economically as hard as it is. Like New York people are.
Well, I think also the whole thing was he was trying to prove something to Nina, like because it's her father's business, and eventually, the thought is that she would take over, and he wanted to be that key person there so that he could be with her all the way and show that he could be helpful for something, even though he wasn't off getting a college degree while she was.
Yeah. I what's it called? I agree with that. I think it's
So when the business goes away, it's like, well,
what is
my
like his
connection is kind of lost.
Yeah, connection to Nina, because that was like one of the main excuses for them to meet.
Yeah,
and that's how they met it too in the film, right?
Yeah.
And I kind of agree with like the teeth weren't there and stuff like that. But I don't. But then again, at the same time, like if the teeth were there, like and they really wanted to, it would have been a very different movie. It would have probably taken away. Like I don't know what scenes you would have taken out. And in terms of like, and then it would be interfering with the themes that they're trying to go for, the different plot elements. So that's why it's hard. It's just like
it's
the
like
basic essence of the film is like I'm not the biggest fan of, but I enjoyed my experience. So you go on.
So like specifically with like Mark Anthony, who's playing Gapo de la Vega, I really liked his scenes. Like I felt, or his scene. I felt was like. I don't know. It was great. Like he brought like a lot of more weight, and I feel like more like consequences of or showing more like this is a guy who obviously burnt out. Like he's given up on everything on this dream, and he's just like fuck it, I don't care. Everything's gonna suck anyways, no matter what. And I felt like his presence was utilized very well just in that one scene.
Yeah.
And it did bring that extra weight. But I just want to see more of him.
Yeah,
I want to see.
But what if that's the extent of his acting ability?
I mean,
That's what I'm
well, we've
saying.
seen Mark Anthony in other stuff. I've seen,
He seemed really good in that.
He was okay in other stuff. You know what I mean? This one is just like his best
I know.
performance.
I will say, this is the
That's what I'm
best.
saying.
This is the most I've liked him.
Like John
but-
M. Chu was like he pulled all he could. That's what I felt. For me, I felt like one. maybe Mark Anthony, that's like all he could have done.
Okay, I guess.
And then like
maybe.
you know, what's it called in terms of like chess pieces on the board? If you know you gotta take that pawn off.
Like I say, I wrote him as one of my standouts. Where I was
he was a great cameo.
Well,
yeah.
I'm surprised.
Took me a second to realize that was Mark Anthony. By the way, because I was like, he looks like a crackhead, dude.
Yeah.
No offense,
I'm
Mark.
surprised that they didn't really give him like a significant like singing role or a significant.
Yeah, right. Because you
Yeah.
have Mark Anthony.
Anthony.
He doesn't sing.
And I think maybe that would have taken away from. And I think it was Mark Anthony's request. Actually, he didn't want to sing.
Oh,
Right?
okay.
Like, it's a more dramatic thing. That's from what I've heard.
Could you imagine that scene with like a musical number?
No, it wouldn't have worked. Yeah, I'm just saying, one
And
more
also,
scene.
Like also
would've
like
been nice.
that character, I guess like would have definitely fucked up the tone for the last half of the film, particularly.
Yeah, I guess so.
Because
I mean,
it was a
like,
character
also
that they
knowing, like-
added to the movie that
Yeah,
wasn't in the
Yeah, it was
in
a
the
new
stage
one.
play.
It's
Yeah.
like you have to use that carefully, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, having him and like if you start seeing him beat the fuck out of, it will go from like
That would've been
it's
great.
Like, it will go from like Carnival, fucking Sonny piece of shit, Carnival, you motherfucker. Like that would have been interesting, actually. I would have
Jesus.
rated R cut.
just intercutting back and forth.
Yeah.
You know,
But I don't think that would have been weird.
God, what's that TV show?
It's like
There's this TV show about.
is it called Fuck Sonny? Or something?
No, about this. Basically, it's like one of those standard like TBS type comedies where it's a fat dude and a hot wife, but it's in Minnesota. And no, but so it's like just like your average like comedy.
Night of
And then-
Prosperity.
And then whenever the wife kind of like goes onto her own, like into her own room, it gets all dark and gloomy. And it just like basically you realize, oh shit, it's like actually like very abusive, the relationship that they have. And it's just
Yeah,
shouted
I've
out.
never
I have no
heard this.
idea.
I forget what the name of it is, but it's a really good show.
King of
And
Queens.
That would be but that would have been funny to have that, for this entire
Remember the
thing.
time we caught an episode of King of Queens and it was
Yes,
like
I
actually the
was.
most dramatic moment
yeah,
possible.
We're like, hey, let's put this on for the lulls, and then she's like
But
dealing
it's-
with the miscarriage or something, and it's like Jesus Christ.
And then I remember I was like, I really hope they fuck it up and have him like fart or something.
Okay, back to West Side Story.
very-
Not West Side Story.
West Side
In the
Story?
Heights. In the Heights. So it's like for me, it's kind of hard. Like I know, like usually when I like have these criticisms, I try to think of like alternatives of what they can do to fix it or something like that. But in this one, my criticism is like by changing it, you just make a completely different movie, right? It's like and essentially like this is the film, the narrative, and from adapting, I think it adapted it as well as it could have, considering the source material. Because you are kind of like, especially when Lin-Manuel Miranda, the creator, he's like watching every fucking step, like like the Emperor, and making sure it's as faithful and stuff as possible. It's like, I think it's like as good as it could have been for an adaptation of the original Broadway musical.
Yes, give
I
in
mean,
to your music.
I haven't seen the original, so I can't really say. But
Yeah.
just as a person who's seen that one, I think I would have changed some things up. But also,
Alright,
I was the biggest fan.
what would you change?
I know, I just don't think it's specific. I can't say exactly. I'm not Lin-Manuel. I don't know. It's hard to see. But I mean, I did
Rack your
say.
brain.
I did say
Get into
Mark
your thing.
Anthony, more scenes with him. I think,
Okay.
I don't know, maybe if the Pedagua guy had like a heroin addiction or something. I'm just kidding, no. But like something,
Is it like The Wire, the musical?
like, yeah, exactly.
Oh, you know what? Somebody
Yeah.
make that into a thing. I would love to see my childhood getting destroyed.
No, I don't know. Like it's like just a little bit more, like I can't. It's hard for me to say exactly. But I mean, if we do want to move on to performances and everything,
So,
okay.
what about? Blake was silent the entire episode.
I have a lot to say about the next two ones.
Okay, that's fine because we were asking Blake earlier. It's like why is Uznavi, which is literally the opening scene. Why Uznavi is called Uznavi? He's like, huh? What? Huh?
To be fair,
So-
Ron also didn't know. So.
But Ron's
I
memory's not
forgot.
the best anyway.
Yeah.
He has that excuse. You know what I mean?
Who said that?
Yeah. What's it called?
Look,
so-
I have a
we'll
lot.
get into this.
Okay.
I'll be very mean if we get more into this. Like,
I have a lot to say about the next two movies. I
okay,
swear.
so ultimately, I did like this. So let's just move on to our next film, which is Tick Tick Boom. And actually, you know what? I guess we kind of skipped this real quick. Favorite performance is what's it called? Favorite performance is Olga Merides, who plays Abuela
Abuela.
Claudia, and she was fantastic. I'm assuming that's yours too. And Mark
Claudia.
Anthony.
Anthony
Ramos was good too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Anthony Ramos. I think just his like performances, his vocal performances when he's like singing and dancing and everything, I fucking loved it. I thought he was great. But like on his just regular like dramatic scenes,
Do you think that's his acting or just like the cheesy nature of Broadway musicals?
It's hard to tell, honestly, and maybe it's just too hard for me to separate it. But like, I felt like again, like when he was actually performing, singing, I was like, this, like he's crushing it, dude.
Oh yeah.
But then when he was like doing little dramatic scenes, or when, especially any of his scenes with like Vanessa, for some reason, I was just like, I didn't like. I get he's supposed to be awkward, but it just felt like
not gonna lie,
not intentionally awkward.
Yeah. As much as I like Anthony Ramos, I think he killed it during the musical scenes.
Yeah,
not necessarily miscast, but then let's be honest, Anthony Ramos, a pretty good looking guy, or decent looking guy, and he's incredibly fit. For him to be like awkward and like, oh, I don't know if I could get girls. Let's be honest.
I'm gonna be, dude. I have met like people that look like models that are awkward as fuck. It exists, trust me.
What's it called? But
yeah.
If you look like Anthony Ramos and you own a fucking business owner,
I'm sure it would have been fun.
I've met attractive people that are super.
Yeah, that's true.
I was just say that. No, but in terms of like cinematically, like how you're gonna portray that instantly, like that's like in real life, right? But like how to like instantly portray that, like that's why in the original, let's be honest, Lin-Manuel Miranda, not saying he's ugly or anything, but he looks like an awkward fucking person.
Yeah, he's a little goofy,
and then like he has awkward mannerisms really well, right?
Yeah, I think he. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, so that's why like if there's someone like that. But
like, who do you have favorite performances or standouts?
I just have Anthony Ramos. Honestly, I really liked him, but I'm also want to shout out Jimmy Schmitz. I mean, I know just Jimmy Schmitz is kind of a power. What I like him.
He sang too, actually.
Yeah. And I really liked his last scene where he just says like, "This is the moment where you become better than me." I thought he totally sold that. I don't know, Jimmy Schmitz, he's a real fucking just top tier actor. So anything he's in.
The actress like Leslie Grace playing Nina is gonna play Leia in Princess Leia in the remake of Star Wars Episode 4: The New Hope. Wait, and that they were just practicing reversing that scene.
I was like, have you heard something? I was like, no, this would be earth-shattering news.
What's it called?
Okay.
No, I would never.
Could you imagine what the fan base would do if they fucking remade A New Hope?
When I get inside information, I will never reveal that on the podcast.
Okay,
my sources will kill me.
Okay, so
Leslie Grace is playing Batwoman. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Great. Oh yeah, no, I knew that. Is it?
Yeah.
Was she not in like Birds of Prey or something? Or
no, she wasn't.
No, who? Fuck, never mind. I'm mixing it up.
You're talking about Smolier, right?
To be fair, I did not see Birds of Prey, so I don't know.
Way different.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I just remember someone was. I remember someone. Batwoman. I thought someone was playing Batwoman in Birds of Prey or something.
You're talking about Canary, right? Black Canary.
No, I know Canary was in it, but I thought someone was playing. Whatever, it doesn't matter.
Okay, nerd shit.
Okay, so anyway, really quick on the technical cinematography and stuff. I think it was like shot pretty damn well for the most part. My favorite sequence, though, I think. Was the song between Nina and Benny when they're like on the side of the roof and everything with like the sunset, and I thought that was awesome because you can tell that it looked practical, like they're actually shifting the stage and shit. I was like, that's great. Not my favorite song, but like
when they went all Inception-y.
yeah, like it wasn't my favorite song at all, but like I thought it was just shot so well. I was like, this is. I don't know. That part was great. I loved it.
The only that even though I love that piece quite a bit, it actually might be one of my favorites, but. One of my criticisms. So for me, I'm big on verisimilitude. It's like if you set up the rules and like in a musical world, it's like everyone believes it's a musical world and continue it.
Yeah.
But having that one kid react and go oh and drop the cereal, I was like, what the fuck? It breaks the rule. I'm like anal about that.
I was expecting to see Doctor Strange go through a portal like in the background as they were doing that.
Yeah. All right.
Spider-Man.
So next film is Tick Tick Boom. So it's directed by Lin-Manuel Miranda, and it's about Jonathan Larson. Who's about to turn 30. And is stressing about unable to accomplish anything before then because he's comparing himself to the greats. And it's cool.
That's a great directorial debut.
And it's also
written
by
he did an amazing job with it.
And it's also written by Stephen Levinson of the Dear Evan.
My apologies.
For audio only listeners, Blake just opened up a can of LaCroix Tangerine.
They're gonna say whoop ass.
Yeah. What's it called? And for brief context for Jonathan Larson, a playwright and composer who obviously went through the classic New York struggle of any creatives living in New York.
It's New York. Everyone's miserable.
What's it called? And at least in this film, he's. And also, I guess, the context of Tick Tick Boom, he spent a lot of time crafting Superbia, which is a rock retelling of George Orwell's 1984. And
8 years.
But eventually, that didn't pan out, and he made Tick Tick Boom his solo piece, which when we get into adaptation, we'll go more into that. And eventually, what everybody seems to know him for, and rightfully so, because it's it's pretty insane. Rent, which is like a musical readaptation or remake of La Vie Boheme or something. I'm sure everyone knows that song, the Summers of Love.
Summer loving happened so fast.
The one's like the
This isn't Greece.
Oh, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys know that song, right?
I know.
The
100.
That's the Summers of Love.
That's okay.
That's
cool.
Summers of
Then
Love.
yes, I
Yeah,
know.
that's one.
Yeah, that's Summers of Love.
That's the literally only Rent song I know.
Well, I mean, one of his songs. Oh, I mean, kind of. It's like the No More, that song. That was in Rent.
Okay.
Yeah, or kind of like that music.
Oh, the one that was you singing the song
yeah,
that was in
Tick,
here.
Tick,
Oh,
Boom.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when
see,
he was like-
there was a few. I don't know. Never mind. I was like, is this from? Because I'm not gonna lie. I have zero theater knowledge, so I was just
Me
like,
too. I don't have much
I was
musical theater
I was like,
knowledge.
is these songs from Rent? Or are they from like their own thing?
No, I mean,
just
they're
from
all,
this
they're all
specifically.
technically his own thing, but I guess like that musical riff was like.
Yeah.
So are we going to talk about kind of how the adaptation happened and kind of the
Oh, we'll get-
differences?
We'll get into that in a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
when we get into the adaptation segment. And then but then he never saw the success of Rent, and because even when it went off Broadway into Broadway, he died of I think aortic aneurysm, right, or something.
Yep.
Seriously, just tragic.
Yeah, like literally the day before. Like he would have been, like essentially he would have been our Lin-Manuel Miranda, and without him there would have been no Lin-Manuel Miranda, because little Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know how many times I'm gonna say
So I'll
his
say
name.
one more time.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know why I can't just say Lin, because it sounds
No.
Asian. So I say Lin-Manuel Miranda. Like
Yeah.
when to go. I wonder what his friends call him. Linny.
They call him Ustavi or whatever.
Stop me. Oh my gosh. Saw Rent as a little kid. Was like, oh my god, I gotta make musicals now. What if Hamilton was a Cuban, or Puerto Rican, or whatever?
Or whatever. Excuse me.
I know. No, because does it change based
Yeah,
on
it did.
like the actors and stuff? It takes
Yeah,
a role.
as far as I know,
Yeah.
that Lin played it originally, and he's Puerto Rican, and then the movie adaptation, he was Dominican, correct?
Oh, no, I'm
So-
talking about for Hamilton and stuff, right?
Oh, for
Yeah,
Hamilton.
that's why I'm saying Hamilton being Puerto Rican or Cuban or changing based on the actor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
What's it called? Yeah, it's for honestly, for as Blake was saying not too long ago, for a directorial debut,
It's pretty fucking good.
absolutely great,
It's a
absolutely fantastic.
beautifully crafted movie.
It's different from, because it's like the solo piece, which was readapted into a Broadway musical with Lin-Manuel Miranda actually playing the Jonathan Larson character, which I'll show you guys afterwards and see what you guys think and see how his nasally voice, according to Rob, compares to Andrew Garfield.
We love you, Lenny.
Yeah, I know. Lenny. I feel so bad. Lin-Manuel Miranda. Oh gosh, I feel so
I'm sure
bad.
he's not listening to
Say it one
worry.
more time. He's gonna pop up behind you, dude.
Oh my god, I love your work. I love
Imagine
your
if you just walked in through the door.
I would
Have a seat.
I actually don't like seeing like my favorite celebrities or whatever and stuff like that, because it's just awkward. Like
Bill Nye the
has
Science
anyone
Guy.
seen Ozark by any chance? It's like weird.
I've watched 3 episodes. One of my close friends swears it's the best thing ever made.
It's pretty. It gets better by third season. It's the best in third season. But it's the detective guy there, and I really liked it. And he was like we were watching Phantom Thread, and he was like sitting like right in front of me with his parents, and then we bumped it, and I was like, he looked at me, and I looked at him, and I was so close to go about the show, but I'm like, no, I don't want to do that, and it felt awkward, and I was like, fuck, he hates me now. Fuck. I don't like seeing celebrities, which is impossible in LA. So yeah, Lynn, please don't show up in our podcast.
Or
I've
do
never ran into an actor. I've ran into musicians, but very niche.
Hold on,
Sorry,
let's
I know.
not go off on this.
I know,
tangent.
I know.
Yeah.
So-
I would love to have Lin-Manuel Miranda on our podcast.
No, please don't. I don't want that. I'll like put shit in my pants literally and just shit on his
You don't
face.
have to show up, but I would love to interview
I'll
him
have
and
to show
just
up,
like
'cause
talk
I
to him.
would,
Yeah.
I would like stalk him from behind and steal his house keys and know where his house is.
Oh,
my
jeez.
God.
Okay, yeah,
Well,
Lin-
now he'll never show up.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lenny,
yeah,
don't
I
come
had to do
on.
that. So in this film, it's pretty unique because they somehow adapted. They did. It's like a weird adaptation of the solo piece, adaptation of the Broadway musical, and at the same time, it's
Also kind of about
like a
him.
biopic. Yeah,
it accomplishes a lot. And I really like that the solo piece is also kind of like a framing device
Yeah.
too. It's really creative.
I think that's the best. The weird thing is don't worry. Like this is very universally acclaimed, very critically. It's like one of the favorites to get nominated for Best Picture right now.
Mhm.
And then when we get to nomination, we'll talk about Andrew Garfield a bit. It's holy shit. that some people were criticizing that aspect of the film, like
Really?
going back and forth saying it's messy. But for me,
I thought it was perfect. I thought that
I
was
agree.
like, because at first I was like, are they trying to pull a Bronson like thing where he's like just talking to the audience?
Yeah.
But it's cool because he technically is talking to the audience, but it's also like a one man piece.
Yeah.
It's just like this. I don't know.
it's going back and forth. His
I
actual
thought
life
it was a
and boom.
really, really creative way to tell the story.
It is.
Yeah.
And I
It
think it's
instantly got me into it. Too.
it's like it's just it's more narratively engaging. This is like one of the few flashback narratives I do like, because sometimes I feel like it's lazy. It's
Yeah.
been done a lot. You guys, I think this professor in UCLA talks about his least favorite flashback narratives, because he said like out of the 60 or hundreds of submissions he gets, almost everybody does flashback narratives is like the easiest way to get backstory. At the same time showing what's happening. And people think it's so cool because they watch Rashomon.
I mean, it can be done right, but
and this one is done.
yeah, this is a
But this one
perfect
has
very
a-
hard to do it
I
right.
think when it's done right, it's because there's a narrative excuse to do this. In this case, it's the solo piece.
Yeah.
The solo piece that is a perfect
Yeah.
framing device for it
Yeah,
to go
Like
back. and
we
forth.
talked about the last duel, the narrative piece is like everyone's
Yeah.
testimony.
Oh, that
pretty
one's
much.
not necessarily like a flashback narrative, right? That's just like a multi-perspective narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
yeah.
well, you brought up Rashomon.
Oh, yeah, that's
so-
true. Yeah. No, but people have taken Rashomon, I think it's a flashback narrative, but it's not. And then
Yeah.
they somehow, like, because of that, like, I'm serious. He has a
Yeah.
whole rant about it.
And I wouldn't even say that this is really a flashback narrative. This is more like him telling the story in his one man play,
Hence the
and
flashback narrative.
basically just the music kind of bringing forward the story in what's actually happening.
No, that is a flashback.
Yeah.
That's the definition.
Yeah.
Miles is like, so it's not a flashback narrative, but let me describe everything that is a flashback narrative.
No,
Miles Bryant,
but
2021. I'm sorry, I love Miles.
It's. I'm just saying it's slightly different. It didn't feel
Oh, yeah.
like a flashback narrative.
It's
just
more-
a really,
it's better.
it's
It's more-
because
yeah.
it's full of energy and it has a reason to be there. So it's just a really good version of it. That's why it feels different.
And I
Yeah.
think it's done,
It's not just him like sitting in a diner going, "Let me tell you about
Yeah.
Like-
this."
and I think it's done. It's the reason. Not even Lin-Manuel, though I think him and Andrew Garfield did fantastic, and they're one of the good reasons why. Great reasons why. But I think the actual MVP, because this could have been so messy, is the editor. I know Myron and Kirsten. I don't know your previous work, so I'll just give you hats off to you. But Andrew Weisblum, who is Miles' favorite editor of all time, I'll mention, and you'll see why when I mention some of his films. He edited The Wrestler, Black Swan, Moonrise Kingdom, and The French Dispatch.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So I think he's one of the biggest reasons why this film is as coherent as it is, right? With the musical pieces blending as well with the original, because you can shoot as much as you want, put it in the can, but when it comes to editing bay, if it doesn't flow as well, like different things that he does, like the audio lead in, way different from House of Gucci. It had terrible audio transitions and visual transitions, and it felt very coherent and smooth, and with match cuts or audio either audio match cuts, visual match cuts, or like the L cuts, and for editors who know what that is, or J cuts. And I was getting a turn on boner every time like a transition was happening. Like I had to stop myself from getting tissue and lotion.
Jeez.
It was so cool.
Everybody's gonna think you're a sexual deviant. The
For
amount
editing.
of stuff that you
Yeah,
say.
but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
They're gonna
for-
think that.
Yeah, it's not for porn. It's like for a good film visuals
Yeah.
and shit.
But the thing
Yeah.
is, it would be a little bit less disgusting if
Can you
it was
imagine,
for
like-
porn, because
He's like, all right, babe, let's.
You're the type of guy who gets turned on not by just like regular feet, but like by cinematically like animated feet or something
Oh,
like
yeah,
that. It
I
feels
was
like
gonna say, he's like, all right, babe, let's go up to the bedroom. Let's put on a tape to put us in the mood. He puts on Citizen Kane.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, look at that
especially-
lighting. Oh, look at that flashback sequence, so well
I
edited.
can. That's why I like Tragedy Macbeth. I'm gonna try to see if I can get pull out a loan to have that entire theater to myself and Miles.
Yeah.
Him and
Yeah.
I could like
You
without a
sure you
pants
want
on.
Miles there? You sure you don't want
Yeah,
this to just
I
be
don't
a-
want to be there. That's
Miles-
what's
Miles is
You're gonna have
gonna-
to pay for the cleanup crew, you know.
No, Miles is gonna help me clean up and also put his hands on my ass.
I-
Propel at the right moments.
I never volunteered for this.
Especially
I never
the
would.
lady Macbeth scene where like she confesses her guilt. Miles is gonna grab onto my ass as like I stroke onto it. Okay, enough of my stroking off to visuals, and good editing. What's it called? It turns me on. Very visual person. So yeah, it's really cool. Thank you, Andrew. Please make more of this. But
job,
oddly
Drew.
enough, one of my criticisms, it's not even really a criticism, it's just like something like I always, when I like a film a lot, I always want them to take the next step forward and and it's just like what I wish they could have done. And I understand the budget wasn't super high for this film, and it's his first directorial debut, which is fantastic. It's I guess like definitely not the biggest fan of like the color palette or the color grading. It's fine. It's regular. It's nothing. It doesn't stand out.
Serviceable.
Yeah, and even the cinematography for the musical sequences, except that one time on the Sunday, and that kind of broke down. And I saw some people on Reddit bitching about the green screen look of it, but I feel like it's dumb. It's a musical thing, whatever. It's supposed to be like dreamlike anyway.
Yeah.
And
It's the
also,
same diner from Spider-Man 1, by the way.
is it really?
Is it?
Yes, that's why I was that's why I made the joke earlier. It's where Mary Jane is working after high school, and then she's like walks out. She's like, "Yeah, I'm acting now." And the boss comes out. He's like, "Hey, Miss Watson,
I'm talking
I'm
to you.
talking to you, Miss Watson.
Yeah.
Don't ignore me." Yeah. Anyway,
So it's like when all the other stuff is working, because like the handling of the emotional aspects, the framing device, the editing, the writing for the most part, and especially the acting from Andrew Garfield, fucking stellar.
yeah, fantastic.
This is probably my favorite performance that I've seen Andrew Garfield in. It's
I
not my
wouldn't-
favorite Andrew Garfield movie, but it's my favorite performance.
I completely
it's a phenomenal.
agree. It's just my favorite Andrew Garfield.
It's a phenomenal performance. I don't know why. I just really like him under the Silver Lake because I like the
he's good. Yeah.
I like the fact that he's kind of playing this neurotic character, but he's also playing it straight, which I don't know. I really think is
as much as I love his performances there, I think he was the best person for that.
no.
role.
I'm not gonna lie. And don't get me wrong. This is a fantastic performance.
But I feel like no one else could have done
Under the Silver Lake.
No. I think you could have maybe
nobody
got
else
one or
could have
two
done
person
this.
do a really good job of Under Silver Lake. I think he's the best person for Under Silver Lake. But this one, I cannot imagine anybody else.
And apparently, this was the first time that he sung in a movie.
Yeah, I had no idea he sang.
Yeah.
He's great.
Yeah, no, me neither. I was expecting him to be like dubbed over or something, but no, he's fantastic.
Yeah, and not even just the singing, just the way he captures. Because we watched the Jonathan Larson video, and he's all fidgety and shit while performing, and just getting his mannerism, his looks, and the
also kind of a neurotic character in this too.
He reminded me a bit of Bo Burnham. I don't know why.
Bo Burnham.
Yeah.
Jonathan Larson, Bo Burnham,
his actual piano playing and everything. I feel like he had that kind of neurotic energy. That
Bo Burnham is a lot more
see that a little bit.
subdued from.
Sometimes he'll turn up their neuroticism.
Have you seen?
I've not seen the newest one. No.
Oh my god!
I know.
Oh my god! How many times?
This doesn't have to turn into a Bo Burnham discussion. Just saying.
So
Back
back to what you were saying about the color palette and the color grading for this movie. I feel like it was actually a good choice, and it actually worked really well because what they were portraying is kind of that dingy kind of.
No, but you could still do that, but make it look like John Krasinski, who's the cinematographer for Spielberg stuff. He does that in Munich and other things, but in a way that not necessarily Well, I guess
but
he's
you
always
could
cinematic.
tell that this was very intentional because if you look at the diner
there's
scene,
also better intentional things they could have done. For me, for me, it's just one. I think maybe the color grading could have used a little bit more contrast, so little deeper blacks. It was kind of gray.
I
it doesn't
kind
have
of
to
agree
be.
though.
No, it was supposed to be muted.
No,
that was the idea. It was
you guys for color grading. It has nothing to do with muted colors or anything like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about there's things you could have done in muted color grading. That's just if you bring down the dark values, you up some of the colors a little bit more. It makes the muted colors still look a little bit more either appealing to the eyes or communicate the message better, because there's muted colors
very appealing to the eyes. So I don't
for me
understand your point.
I think because it's fine, it's serviceable. Bruno is this DP for Inside Llewyn Davis and a lot of Coen Brothers films, and a lot of his most recent one. He does a similar visual style to this, but his looks, I think, for me, significantly better than. I mean, I'm sorry to shit on Alex Brooks because I think he did a better job in Heights than in this film. And very different stories, and I understand why.
Disagree.
Yeah, I disagree too.
I didn't like the visuals as much in the Heights, but I do agree with what you're saying in the terms of the muted color.
The framing, the color scheme, the presencia.
I love the framing in this movie.
I would also
framing.
I also agree that this looked better than In the Heights.
I was just merely saying, on a colored standpoint, I understand that In the Heights is a more bright and colorful film, but I'm just saying I preferred the look a little bit more for this one. But even then, I do agree. I agree with what Philip is saying, because that I know what you're saying, Inside Llewyn Davis kind of it's still muted, and it's like kind of more like that kind of color grading that would have like helped add it a little bit. It would have notched it up to the next bar. It would have been like a little bit better. Where it can still have that kind of muted color tone to give the film a more grounded feel, but have that still kind of dream surreal like quality to it.
But like even sequences like the when they're doing therapy, it's like I feel bad that you feel bad, and you know when it got a little bit more energetic, it's like and the camera was panning left and right and stuff like that. Like it was, I felt like the most obvious choices you could have done as from a cinematography standpoint, and also like for me, if like to get the solo piece look of the just like the nature of theater performances and everything, I think like even though it's a little different, but like in terms of like shooting style, like I forgot this is a Filipino cinematographer. He did it for he was DP for A Star Is Born. Has anyone seen that by any chance?
No.
9. I saw the original.
That was good. I mean,
I did not like the
which
original.
one? There's like 4.
The fucking Barbara Streisand.
That's not the original. That's
sorry.
the third remake.
Yes, I understand there's been remakes.
That's the worst one, actually.
The original one. I was going to say I did not like that
That's
one.
the worst one.
I feel bad because my dad is like always raved about how much he loved that movie. And then he finally watched it after like 40 years. And he was like, never mind. This movie was not good. And I was like, I felt like I tore something from him because he was like, let's watch it. And he watched it and he was like, oh, this was not a good movie.
Oh, that is not. Yeah, that's
anyway.
the worst. That's the worst.
The best version of A Star Is Born is the one with Star. Oh,
well, actually, no, never mind. The Judy
Garland.
Judy Garland was pretty good too. And that one, like you know, like with the different light placements and stuff like that, and the way the camera moved, and it's like it's tracking the motions of the actual actors better, was a little bit more immersive. And I don't know if like a DP with maybe a little bit more, because I couldn't find that much more experience from Alex Brooks. A DP with a little bit more experience in this film might have just helped take it to the next level. Yeah, like I said, it's good, it's serviceable, but it's nothing like for me like, and it was just bummer. Like I wanted to give this like the. Not to spoil my rating, but like I'll give my numerical rating. I wanted to give this like a 10 or something out of 10 because I love the music. Andrew Garfield is giving a 20 out of 10 performance. Lin-Manuel Miranda, you can totally see there's a lot of passion in it and stuff like that. And also maybe this also has to do with Lin-Manuel Miranda being a first-time director. Well, and you guys are crazy about that.
Okay, I thought the movie looked great though.
I think that the fact that he has so much Broadway experience though, I think was really a benefit to this movie though.
Yeah,
that's why it's good.
Definitely. So, like, even though he's a first-time director, he has had so much experience in Broadway. I feel like he was one of the best options to bring a musical to the big screen.
Oh, and yeah, I just think that, I think what Philip is saying is like if he would have been paired with like a more experienced or maybe nuanced cinematographer, he could have brought it more to life in a way that I don't know. We can't really imagine.
Well, what was the budget on this though?
Like $30.
I think it was like under 20 million, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it wasn't super high. But you could still have
budget, but
you could still have what's it called? Like if Spike Lee says anything, you could still have great cinematography and like cool like frenetic or not to say frenetic camera style movements with a smaller budget. You just have to be more creative with it.
Well, and wasn't this a Netflix movie also? So they've got a lot of rules when it comes to who you can work with at Netflix.
No, not necessarily. It depends. It depends on whether they acquired or whether they put their ground up.
And this one is Can I have the mic for a second? I've been trying to talk for an hour.
You have bad opinions. I'm just gonna go on.
I like the look, and I'm agreeing with what Miles said. Where he's living in this like small apartment, as he says, filled with music other people wrote and plays he didn't write, and like I don't know, and like he works at this little diner. I don't know. I just thought like visually, a lot of it worked for me because of that.
I've seen 900 indie films with like this type of look, and it just kind of drowns out.
I don't know. I just thought it for the turn. Okay, but also like
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying that like as Ron and I were saying that like it could have been elevated to another level with a better DP, better color grader. I don't know if like they had involvement or something like that. I'm not saying they're probably really good at their jobs too, but just like. Next level.
Again, I think it falls a lot on Lin-Manuel's inexperience directing like a film. But again, I think the rest of his talent definitely is what helped elevate the rest of this film.
And as a director, the main important thing is bring out the performances and the emotion and
which he did.
Telling the story, which he did.
Crushed it.
Yeah, he crushed that part. Yeah. Let's just say, I'm not saying Denis Villeneuve is going to be... He's not the right person for this movie. I'm just saying somebody that like that visual eye, and I'm not saying like that visual style, I'm saying like that level of visual attention to detail might have brought this a little bit
Could you imagine Nicholas Winding Refn directed this?
I would love to see Nicholas Winding Refn in musical by any chance. By the way.
That would be music. They would just stare at each other.
I don't know, man. Have you seen the end of Neon Demon?
No,
sorry, not Neon Demon.
Video.
I meant
there would be a shit ton of music. It was just there would be
Yeah.
no like actual
Singing.
lyrics.
I meant
Neon
Only
actually
God
had-
Forgives.
Only God Forgives is a fucking amazing movie, and
Yeah.
that's a good joke. I just got it.
The karaoke.
I think you're gonna mention. I think you're gonna mention Bronson. or anything
People
like
would be
that, but-
singing, but it'd be one guy like like stone face on the stage, all like a bunch of people just blindly
I would
stare at
love
him,
to see that. I would see Yorgos Lanthimos.
and it would look
Yorgos Lanthimos.
and it would look
musical, yeah.
incredible.
Dude, I kind of want to see Yorgos Lanthimos direct a musical now, actually. Could you imagine the vocal performance he would make them make?
Yeah, what's it called?
Singing without emotion.
And I'm thinking, I'm more excited, and what's it called? That's why I'm kind of sad that this is his directorial debut. I kind of wish it was like his second or third film, but
What if his entire career is just him remaking this movie over and over again until like
just to make me happy?
just
Honestly,
like
I think this was
Andrew Garfield, just like Jonathan
Bro, this is a
Larson.
fantastic
This
debut.
is a good one for his debut, and I think this is going to open a lot of doors and give him a lot of opportunities to be a director in the future on bigger budget things.
No, I'll say this: Lin-Manuel Miranda, because he's so hot in Hollywood, he could have. I'm talking about if he wants to direct a 50 million musical about poops stabbing each other with forks, he would get that money. He's everything's greenlit for that guy.
I was gonna say he's already like Disney's poster child right now. They love him, so that gives you a lot of weight to throw around.
Should we
But-
talk about the
Which
story?
surprises
Yeah, I was
me
gonna
that
say
this
Yeah,
is-
let's
move
move on. I think the visuals we covered that pretty well.
All right, so let's talk about the actual narrative. Like plot themes, characters. Like, wait, so who are your favorite characters? Like, who was the standout for you guys?
it's just Andrew Garfield for me.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that
I think Robin de Jesus as Michael.
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
yeah, he gave a
phenomenal,
great
too.
performance.
Yeah.
I just want to say that I'm a soulless, heartless person that bleeds black sludge and I'm just cynical and I hate everything. This is the first time in a long time that I've actually seen myself in a character in a movie. Like, I don't know, this movie, I just really like connected to it. Like, I really like enjoyed it. I felt like the Jonathan Larson as a character in this was just super, super relatable to me. I don't know. It really, like, this is a phenomenon for me. I've always said that there's certain movies that, like, if you watch them at the right time, they'll be elevated for you. I watched this movie exactly the right time. So I don't know. I just thought that this movie really struck a chord with me.
He's turning 30 next week, and he's got this Broadway play that he's been working
I'm
on
not turning
for
30.
8 years.
No, but
I don't know what you're saying.
I'm in my late 20s. I am a creative person. I recently quit my job to like focus on art. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like I found a lot of myself relating to like the fears and anxieties that this character has.
Yeah.
I think on a narrative level, it's like absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, no, I think performances too. Again, it's hard to say to get away from Andrew Garfield, but Robin de Jesus was fantastic.
Who's also
think-
tracking well on Oscar nominations.
Yeah,
Yes.
but Vanessa Hudgens was like sneaky good. She never did anything particularly that like really stood out to me. But also,
You
Walter
didn't like her in Spring Breakers?
Bradley Whitford just as like the critic dude, or not the critic, but like the playwright guy or whatever. That,
Are you
like,
kidding
just-
me? The playwright guy?
The
Playwright guy.
one of the most prominent figures
Oh
in
my
musical
gosh.
theater, revolutionizing the genre, tackling the unexpected side of the human experience, and mentoring
reading
up
off
and
the
coming
character
artists.
sheet.
This is all off the top of my head. I'm a
Is
genius.
it really? Is it really off your head?
No.
No, it's literally word for
Wait,
word
exactly,
what
that's
I
what I'm
wrote.
saying,
Yeah.
No. He does a great job. I like that. Like again, he has
You
that
want to say
weight
the
in his
name of the guy?
performance.
Just
Stephen Sondheim.
Yeah. Did we just talk about it not too long ago
Yeah.
for West Side
Yeah,
Story?
we talked about
Yeah.
him a lot.
Yes, we did. Yes.
Yeah.
Also,
So-
Judith White is in this movie. She was an Ugly Betty.
And
Yeah.
one thing I do want to talk about is a character who only had one scene. Laura Benanti. I don't know how
it's
to
Judy.
pronounce it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which apparently I didn't know anything about her before this, but apparently she was like one of the most like awarded of any of the actors in this movie.
Really?
And they only gave her one scene.
Like on a
Yeah, she's
Broadway
got-
standpoint.
Yeah,
like-
she's got like multiple Tonys and just great all around performer.
Yeah, there's like tons of sneaky cameos throughout. Like even just the
she's
the
Sound
moon
of
dance.
Music person. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, the moon dance moon dance diner scene. There's like a bunch of people that were from the original production of Hamilton and shit. So like
And
it's
then
great.
And the guy who plays Freddy, who gets HIV and stuff, is Dear Evan Hansen guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you even got the girl from Pose, the
Mhm.
MJ Rodriguez.
Lin Manuel was one of the chefs.
I know. Yeah, and then I even like Richard Kind as the fucking fraud critic or something.
Joshua Henry as Roger too. Just every time he was singing, I was like, this guy's got like amazing vocals
Yeah.
as well.
I love that part. I love
Yeah,
that part.
I was like, who's this dude? I was like, this guy, I feel like he's gonna break out. I'm sure he already is like great, but yeah, he's good.
Yeah, for having a fairly small core cast, they did just amazing jobs.
Oh, and also I love that they used actual Broadway theater performers and stuff in this film. I mean, I guess outside of Vanessa, but even though she has like some serious singing credits too, they didn't just blindly cast a bunch of like big name actors who have zero experience or just like don't
Does
have
Andrew
any.
Garfield have any experience like in
He's
Broadway?
a choir boy.
Yeah.
He was
So
a choir
I was gonna
boy.
say that's one of the things that like surprised me with Andrew. I was worried that he would be like the weak link or something, but he actually like.
And when we
like
talk-
we said, he's so good.
And I'm gonna bring that up in West Side Story because for me, there's a weak link there.
Yeah, because I say like Les Mis. There's some you know.
What are
I
you
think
talking about?
you mean-
Les Mis was a masterpiece.
You mean Russell Bowe?
I know that's gonna rustle some feathers. Yeah, but I mean like
He's a
you know.
terrible singer. You can say that. Who the
it's
fuck is
nothing.
gonna
No,
not
no.
agree
I'll
with
say this:
that?
Russell Crowe's actually a good singer, just not for the.
No, not for that. That was like a that was a choice. Like I don't know.
Also, for any of our viewers who don't understand how sarcastic I am, I was joking about Les Mis being a masterpiece.
No, but I was gonna say Les Mis is very beloved, but I know the Russell Crowe part in particular is the part where most people the criticisms
yeah,
lie.
The original Broadway is great.
yeah,
not the,
yeah.
not
the
film.
The film was horseshit.
Okay, I wouldn't watch it. Okay, let's move
Yeah,
on.
we're not gonna get
We're
to
not gonna
Les
destroy
Mis here.
and alienate all like music. You just destroyed all our musical theater audience. What's it called? Even like the small ones. Alexander Shipp, who was Storm in fucking X-Men Apocalypse.
That's who she is,
Yeah.
dude. Okay, I didn't recognize her, but Rosie did. She was like, "Where is she? She's been in something." I was like, "I don't know."
Probably
like,
a movie.
Yeah.
What's it called? No, she was good. She was good. Great redemption. I mean, she was already steadily, improving like her choices from then. You know what I mean? She was good. I actually liked her a lot. I'll be excited to see her do more stuff in the future.
Yeah. Definitely. She could come back for Storm for all I care. Just different writers.
Yeah. I mean, it's not her. It's not even her fault.
No, it
Like,
was not. No.
Man,
What's it
I
called?
get sad
So-
when I think about that movie.
I guess we were talking about the story of this,
Yeah,
right?
the story,
yes.
We got sidetracked with the actors because there are just so
They're
many
good.
amazing
That
And
is,
they're all
that is
good.
an aspect of the film. Like
Yeah.
like Andrew. We were talking about like the mannerisms and everything in Jonathan Larson. Literally, I don't
Yeah.
think anybody else could have played this guy. Yeah,
Honestly, like I had seen pictures of Andrew Larson before this, and at first,
Andrew Larson.
sorry, Jonathan.
So did he go back in
they
time?
blended
and they
it.
made a baby with Jonathan Larson. Andrew Larson, Andrew Garfield, Jonathan Larson, Andrew Larson, baby. That's what
Sorry.
we're talking about.
Sorry, I had seen
Get
pictures.
over here, Andrew Larson.
I had seen pictures of Jonathan Larson like before this, and during the first couple of scenes, I didn't really see Andrew Garfield. I saw Jonathan Larson there, and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?
Yeah,
Wait,
he's-
is this like found
Completely
footage that they're
disagrees.
using?"
Philip,
Yeah,
I feel like you might know the answer to this because the second I was done with this movie, the first thing I said, and I said this out loud, I said, I feel like Andrew Garfield was so good in this that I have to wonder if this was like a dream role for him or something. Like, was this like something he's always wanted to play? It feels very passionate.
No.
I think
no,
that's
it
how he
wasn't.
is in all of his roles, though. Like he puts 110% into like every role that I've seen from him recently.
Silence. Watch
Yeah,
it.
Silence, which is even though I think,
Spider-Man 2
even though
maybe?
his Academy Award nomination for Hacksaw Ridge was well deserved,
Mhm.
but Silence was a better performance that year.
Absolutely.
What's it called?
It stands as that one, and honestly, maybe this one. They're like up there, like top 2 or 3 performances
Yeah.
from him.
Yeah, I think
Really
Silence.
love it.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Well, that's not his
You know,
fault.
I was gonna
That's
say
not his
he's
fault.
doing fine. He's fucking doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're not gonna get into Spider-Man.
When we get into a Spider-Man episode, we'll talk about it
that'll be in like 2 weeks.
because he'll pop up. We know my
Oh.
one of the
You think
people.
so?
I
Your
used-
Spidey senses are taking.
No,
over.
one of my. I'll just say this. One of my previous people I used to work at like leaked an image or something.
Oh
I'll show you
my
guys after. What's it called? And not just him.
I think
what's it
we,
called?
we all knew that was going to happen, though. Like for the last year, they've been saying, "Oh yeah, it's going to have all."
Oh,
three
yeah,
Yes,
let's
yes,
get
let's
this.
not-
Let's
let's-
get-
yeah.
let's get-
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
There's already gonna be a
Whatever,
3-hour
sorry.
episode. It's
What's it
fine.
called? So it's I mean, I guess like like obviously the recurring theme is and I do like the fact because in the original Broadway play, or musical, they don't mention that Jonathan Larson has died. Because I think the guy who remade into Broadway musical, he said that he didn't want to put it in there because it would take away the effect of the music and the narrative. But because it's more of a biopic in this one with the musical kind of going back and forth with the solo piece. Lin-Manuel Miranda took the opposite approach and said specifically he didn't want everyone to know that he died because he wanted to put the time element, the ticking element, more prominent in the
Yeah.
film. And I think that was
feel
an
like
excellent choice.
He wanted to, in a certain sense, finish the musical because what's that old saying? Like, oh yeah, the story's not over until the end.
You mean?
No,
I'm sorry to laugh, Miles, but I what you're trying to say.
Sorry, I forget how it goes. But it's like no, but it basically just meaning that like your story, just because like it's the last word that you write on the page, doesn't mean that that's the end of the story. The story doesn't end until you actually die.
This is reminding me of the terrible George Lucas quote: "Movies aren't finished; they're abandoned."
Sure.
Wait, that one actually makes more sense.
Yeah, I was gonna say that does.
That's actually not terrible. Actually,
I was gonna say it's in terms of like narrative choices
like
and everything.
That aspect of like the time element, also with the HIVs. Right?
Yes, the ticking clock throughout this story is what is obviously the main driving force throughout it. Like it's that same thing where he's like, I'm turning 30, and he's scared about turning 30. Obviously, someone who gets diagnosed with AIDS at this time is like ticking down until they probably will expire, and it goes on like that where like the girlfriend is like, she's like, I'm gonna go, and like, are you gonna do you even care or what? And like it adds this like tension that just drives the film, and I'll say, after watching 4 different musicals or 4 different films,
this was the most narratively engaging one.
Yeah, this was the last one on my list, and I was dreading it because I was like, I've never heard of it. I don't really want to watch it. Yeah, I was, because I understand. Blake told me it was his favorite, so I was like, okay, we'll see. And then I started watching it, and I was immediately
reviews after too.
Yeah, and I was immediately pulled in, and I was like, okay, I want to see this. I want to see where this goes. Like, I'm excited to continue watching this movie. So
that opening song, by the way,
yeah, it's fantastic.
So I felt like I connected with this movie more than I was able to connect with the other movies, simply because this did tend to reflect a lot of my experiences. I have been in a position where I've moved around places. I've not been sure what my future holds. I'm getting up to the same age. I'm 28 right now.
Yeah.
And it kind of just feels like there is that ticking clock. And I really did connect with that, because it feels like, hey, well, you're in your 20s. That's kind of your period to see if you're going to be able to make it at doing what you love. And then after that, it feels like you just fall off a cliff and you're stuck wherever you land.
Yeah.
It's definitely like for people in their mid to late 20s, super relatable. Fucking literally.
Yeah. We live in a society.
Jared Leto could have played Jonathan Larson, right?
Oh,
he would have bleeded. He would have bleeded Larson from his.
Ugh. Talk
Nobody
about
was
the darkest
prosthetic
timeline.
nose, prosthetic hair.
Okay. Anyway, just trying to imagine Jared Leto in this performance.
Okay.
Okay.
And, different elements that I did like from the film. Gosh, now why did I do that? Jared Leto, Jonathan Larson. Yeah, and then the ticking aspect was a really smart narrative choice in terms of with both what actually happens in the film with like HIV diagnosis of Freddie, Michael, which was heartbreaking, by the way, when we found out.
Yeah,
great scene.
Yeah.
His song "Real Life."
Yeah, that's I won't spoil it.
Yeah, but then I guess you.
That's one of my favorites of the.
What's it called? Or even like how. What's it called? Like the time for literally how much time is left until, which is a big thing in the film. Like how much time is left before he has workshop, right? Mm-hmm. They're always telling him you have these amount of days, these amount of hours. Like this is a time at night.
Yeah,
and that's just, I think that's good writing. Like in terms of just making that prevalent from beginning to end.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, what did you guys think of the swimming pool scene?
I loved it.
I liked it a lot.
Sorry,
you mean swimming? The song
I'm glad you brought it up.
No, because I was thinking about that, especially with what you were saying about the cinematography earlier.
Yeah, it's a great little sequence.
That was amazingly done, especially with the notes appearing on the bottom of the pool, and I agree. Very interesting.
Yeah, that one's good. I'm saying that one I have less complaints about the regular. So let's say, like there are ways to shoot dialogue scenes, and there's ways to shoot dramatic scenes or even like on stage scenes really well, really effectively, like subtle ways, invisible things that great directors do. But Lin-Manuel Miranda, first time, so not too hard on. I'm being too hard on him, but really great. Yeah,
you're being too hard on him.
It's okay, Linny.
That's how, because it's like, what's it called?
I really quick want to shout out the diner scene with the theater head. I don't know why I just really like that scene where he's like, you got to write this song. And he's like, no one's ever told me that. And he's like lying.
And
about it.
he flashes back to
then he flashes back to the other scene. I just like this whole.
Wait, so that was a flashback within a flashback.
I just like the whole like constant threat of like he's never gonna finish this fucking song, and he's just like doing everything he can except for finish the song. I don't know. That's really relatable.
I feel like he ripped off SpongeBob, from that one episode where he's procrastinating, but it's okay. Yeah, we'll let it slide. Don't worry.
And then the actual song that what's it called? Come to Your Senses. Oh, that's just a knockout song.
Yeah,
for both people. And I just like.
No, sorry. Continue.
What's it called? Yeah, that was what's it called. That was a knockout sound with like, and them cutting back and forth between Alexander Shipp singing as Susan and Vanessa Hudgens as Caressa.
Do we want to get into our favorite songs?
Yeah, let's get into it. What are your favorite songs, Ron?
That was really hard for me to decide because I was like,
you liked every song.
I really did. I liked a lot of the songs. Like it was like I think generally speaking, and I'm just gonna spoil a bit my opinion for the three films that we were talking about here. Like in terms of like the actual music and everything, I think I liked In the Heights the most, and then probably this one, and then like West Side Story. But like I couldn't pick out a specific song that I liked from this one, so I picked Play Game, which which I was like, you know what? I was like, this part's pretty dope.
Okay,
I like it.
That song's not too bad.
Play the game.
Yeah,
yeah. I thought it was like it was funny. It was the only one that I could remember specifically from the scene and the name, so that's why I picked it. But there was just as a whole, I think I liked the music the most generally from this film. But yeah, if I'm picking a single track, I don't know, it's still probably 96,000 from In the Heights.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, for this one, is it really Play the Game, or you just like that?
No, I think it is because I can't remember the name of any of the other songs.
The opening set, the
opening song is pretty good.
That song,
yeah, that's a great song. Yeah, I like that.
So that or Boho, this is the life,
I'd have to like listen to them all again. Honestly.
Really played the game?
I just finished watching this movie. Like,
see, if you guys had come earlier, I literally blasted all the soundtracks for all these songs earlier today.
I heard.
Yes.
No, but I love how they play the song "Green Green Dress" while John and Susan are having green dress, and they're like, "Oh yeah."
What's your favorite song, Philip?
For me, it's two. It's tied. I mean, I honestly all the songs I really did like. And "Come to Your Senses" is great. The two songs that I love the most is what hooked me onto the original Tick Tick Boom was 3090, where he starts at the beginning, and Boho Days. Okay. Yeah, because I think. And maybe Boho Days is cheating because technically that's like more on more on Andrew Garfield's performance and stuff like that. So yeah, 3090 for a song. Boho Days is my favorite performance in the film.
Yeah, for me, Boho Days is also one of my favorite songs. But another favorite song that I've got is Johnny Can't Decide.
Johnny Can't Decide.
Yeah. Like it just sounds so nice.
Yeah, that's good. Every single Jonathan Larson, I think, is it's such a tragedy that he left so early. I don't know. All of the songs were like, for me, maybe because like I'm, it hits me in a way that more than the other ones. Yeah, but it's a travesty. Play Game is your favorite fucking song. My gosh.
Did I get to say my favorite song?
I'm gonna have to give you let me just shit on Ron for a bit more. I feel like I have to just shit on you for life after this. I literally have to
There's so many great songs.
It was a great while the movie was happening. I was enjoying it, but I was like, there's no song. I guess when it comes to musicals, when I'm trying to think of my favorite song, what song am I going to listen to later, on the car?
Really?
And, yeah.
Really?
I was like,
that one out of all the fucking ones.
I was like, yeah, this is great. But as watching it as a viewer and enjoying the film as it's going through, all the music was
I will have to
fantastic.
cut my smegma off and blind you one day.
Oh
my gosh. All right, go on.
I'm cheating. I have 3.
That's fine.
3090, Real Life, and Sunday.
No Play Game, you piece of shit.
And Sunday's kind of cheating because I think it's mostly I found the visual stuff to be a lot of fun, but it left an impression.
Yeah,
Sunday was great.
Yeah, I mean that was the same thing with Boho Days.
Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah,
that was good, and then also even the final song, Louder Than Words, at the end.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that was awesome too.
Was it really? It's not. Yes. I don't think it's good as Play Game though.
No,
around me.
That's the Play Game.
That's the Play Game.
That's the Play Game. Play Game.
Why didn't we get to see Andrew Garfield's bulge? We get to see David Bowie's bulge.
Maybe one day.
I want to see Andrew Garfield's giant bulge.
Did you not watch Spider-Man There's bulges. in there.
Should we ask for a remake of Labyrinth with Andrew Garfield?
I feel like as much as I like Andrew Garfield, that would be the wrong casting. But
That's called career suicide, I think.
That would be no. They will never. They will never. You cannot touch David Bowie. What's it called? I know there's jokes about Tilda Swinton playing David Bowie in a biopic. In a weird way, that could kind of work.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I would actually
would love
think
to
that'd
see
be a
that.
pretty great choice.
It'd be like a weird attitude. Not a straight like Bob
Yeah.
Dylan was played by 5 people.
My only concern is that I feel like she's aging out of the role. Like, they would have to have someone as a younger David Bowie.
Yeah, and
I mean-
someone be older. Well,
Yeah.
like Bob Dylan. You seen that? I'm Not There. There's like Kate Blanchett was Bob Dylan at one point.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
Awesome.
are we moving
I'm
on
gonna
to
say
West Side
Tilda Swinton
Story?
is definitely not. She will gender swap, like, Suspiria, one choice, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get into the final piece. and this-
Tonight.
Oh, shut the fuck
I'll
up!
see
I'm talking,
my love
bitch.
Tonight,
Bitch, I'm talking.
And for us, stars will stop where they are. Today, the minutes seem like hours.
For our
Okay.
audio only listeners, they are
We're
play
holding
dancing
hands
right now.
and-
Yeah, they were
you
holding
know,
hands.
slapping
The
our dicks across each
minutes
other.
go so slowly. I love West Side Story.
All right, so West Side Story.
I love West Side Story.
What's it called? West Side Story is
The Jets are gonna have their way.
it's a musical.
tonight.
It's a musical
The
conceived
Jets are gonna
by
have their
Jerome
way
Robbins.
tonight.
Jerome Robbins. Okay, it's a musical conceived by Jerome Robbins, with music by Leonard Bernstein. Fantastic guy. He also did music for On the Waterfront. Lyrics by Stephen Sondheim. R.I.P. Stephen Sondheim. You'll be missed. Who just passed away recently, and he was just labeled as Ron as that musical critic guy. Right?
Yeah, wait, hold on a
Yeah.
second. Wasn't he the dude that was in that one movie we just talked about? Is he? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, continue.
Yeah. Everything's all connected.
Oh shit, dude! I just cut myself on that
Yeah.
dagger Philip was shooting at me right now.
What's it
I don't
called?
have a West Side Story cheat sheet.
You don't? Wow. It's right here, man.
What?
are you
Don't you
talking
know
about?
everything about West Side
separated.
Story already?
I know. You probably could play him. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need it, but
what's it called? And
I
then,
was in
based on a book by
you best
Arthur.
start believing in West Side
Best-
Story. You're
based
in one.
on a book by Arthur Loret. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
I thought it
So-
was based off Romeo and Juliet.
Well, that's
It's a loose adaptation.
That's an adaptation. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Everyone, shut the fuck up for a second. Rip your dick off and make you guys eat the fuck out of it. All right.
So I've been
Okay,
thinking
I'll
about
shut up.
called?
Yeah.
So the
So I've been-
what's it called? The original the original film came out on October 18th, 1961, directed by Jerome Robbins, who conceived the musical with Stephen Sondheim, and Robert Rice, who directed The Sound of Music, which also is fantastic. Should I even ask if you guys seen The Sound of Music?
Yes, I've seen The Sound of Music. Yes,
Is that
I
the
have.
one with the flying nuns?
I've never seen The Sound of Music. I'm going to be honest.
Yes,
oh my
I've.
fucking gosh, you're fucking kidding me.
To be fair, I saw The Sound. We owned the VHS tape and we watched it like back in the day because it was like one of the few movies my mom actually really enjoyed watching. Or no, that's not entirely true. But like she would be like, "Let's watch Sound of Music." Yes, so
Yeah,
I've seen it.
I only know about Sound of Music from Vin Diesel's The Pacifier.
Oh my gosh.
And then one kid plays a Nazi, and then they're like,
Yep.
"He's becoming a Nazi," and it's like, no, he Zerlin plays.
Yeah.
He just wants to be a
That's
theater
why.
kid.
That's the fact that you've seen Sound of Music makes me even more surprised because you haven't seen West Side Story, the original, which I think is on the same level in terms of how many.
Oh, because I'm Hispanic, I gotta watch West Side Story.
not even fucking thing. What's it called?
Actually, I mean, wasn't the original West Side Story kind of... I don't know how to put this gently. Kind of insensitive?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
We'll get into that.
let's get into that. What's it called? And it was when it came out, it just took the world by storm on both movie from a musical side. And I think it broke the record at the time. We're tied with Ben-Hur for most Academy Awards ever won. It's 11 or so.
Which kind of blows my mind because I feel like Ben-Hur's better.
Yeah.
Was that tied?
You guys are gonna
very
hate me for
fucking
this,
different. Very.
but
I know,
fucking
they're very
I've-
different.
I've never actually seen Ben-Hur.
You gotta watch Ben-Hur.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
have you seen Ben-Hur?
I've not seen
Let's not
Ben-Hur.
let's not
that's
Star
fine.
Trek
It's-
anymore.
I feel like the more I talk about the classic films, if I go into have you seen Casablanca, have you
Yes.
seen Gone with the Wind? Oh, you
Yes.
have? Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. And then
own
I know it's no from
Casablanca.
these two fucks.
I own
Quite frankly,
Casablanca. I believe I've got
we'll
the
always
Criterion
have Paris.
for it.
Yeah, or I'm looking.
No.
I know, and then I know you've seen Citizen Kane.
Yes.
But I feel like for any film fan, you have to see those films.
Yeah,
and so if I could go into that, I'll just like have an aneurysm.
Scarlet.
And I hope not like Jonathan Larson. Please knock on.
Oh my
whatever. God. I love you, Jonathan.
There
Larson,
goes our other half of our theater audience.
Yeah. So it was revolutionary at the time, with both how musical adaptations could be done, and also particularly the editing choices by Thomas Stanford, who basically this is like his second to last film, and I don't know how he put himself in overdrive because he wasn't that like notable. Like he was a famous editor, but nothing like of this level beforehand. But this one, he was just like, let's go fucking crazy with the transitions, like with turning it all to primary red, and the primary red goes out and it's like they're in the gym, or stuff like that,
which is great, by the way.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
or even like the opening track,
the overture.
Yeah, the overture and stuff like that, where it's like changing colors and you find out that the little lines are actually just New York City.
It's New York, baby.
I love New York. So this is definitely got me hard on the entire time. Or even like just like the scenes where Tony and Maria first meet. And it's just like everything's like blurred out the background and everything.
Yeah.
Like it had a very dreamlike quality. And that's also has to, credit to the DP who was Daniel Fop, who was the DP for The Great Escape. And the art direction, choreographer, all that shit. It's like, and the musical sequences are just so edited well. Like with this, every snap, every cut to cut transition, nothing was super jarring. Like they always cut on motion, so it felt super smooth. Like once again, the editors are low key MVPs for a lot of these musical films. And this even had an interesting production history. Like a lot of people didn't think it was going to work because they fired the director actually, like midway through filming. Like Jerome Robbins, the guy who conceived it. They fired him because he ran like 24 days over schedule and they still haven't finished. I think they had like a third or like more than that left. And then Robert Wise had to pick up the pieces, but he's good for Robert Wise. He actually like campaigned for Jerome Robbins to get co-directing credits because he's like, he deserves it and shit. Before even, and then it was remade in 2021 by Steven Spielberg, and with a DP. What's it called?
Some indie unknown.
Janusz Kaminski, who's one of my favorite DPs of all time, and screenplay by Tony Kushner, who, if you guys want to, I purposely left empty. If you guys want to write it down, he wrote Lincoln, which is I think one of the best historical biopics we've had recently.
Sorry, I liked how you wrote like you have on the cheat sheet, you have original, like who directed it, notable works, and you're like Sound of Music, and then for director Steven Spielberg. Everything Steven Spielberg.
It's true.
What's notable for him? Yeah, everything else he's
everything
done. Yeah.
Even his like weird side when like Amistad, I'll be like, oh, I guess no one. And I look at like all the Academy Awards fucking got nominated for.
You think that if John Krasinski directed this, he would have been all of the Jets?
Oh, please.
I
was on a good streak. You guys know I was behaving.
Yes.
But somehow this pelican-looking motherfucker to my left is talking about John. So, of course, they bring it on. Of course, if he directed it, he would have been Tony. He would have been Maria. He would have been Rip.
Emily Blunt would have been Maria.
And he was like, hey, Maria, go away from the... No. Anyway, and then when Riff died, it would have been like, ah! When Tony died, it would have been, ah!
Okay.
Don't mention John. It's a trigger point for me.
It is
okay
for
he's
everyone.
Banned until the next time he's mentioned.
Until the next time he's mentioned.
So before we get into like the remake and stuff like that, what are you guys' opinions on the first original ones? And also last mention, screenplay to Ernest Lehman, who wrote North by Northwest, because I know that's a big fan of North by Northwest over here by Blake. The Sound of Music and Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. What do you guys think of the original? What is your familiarity of West Side Story? And
can I go first?
Yeah.
I like the original a lot. Although that is partially just because I saw it when I was younger. I'm very familiar with West Side Story. I've seen the original countless times. Obviously, I was in a production of it in a high school play. It's
Which you mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier.
He literally.
I had one line.
Honestly,
was,
though, Blake talks about this like every single time I see him. So it's, you know.
okay, but Ron does know that I like West Side Story, as he says that throughout
Yes,
the
of
years
course.
I've brought up West Side Story.
It's come up numerous times.
I
Also, the
really-
fact that how many times us as a group.
podcast for him to watch.
Oh,
West Side
and
Story.
and
Yeah.
me and Ron's friend group, it's kind of an inside meme, inside joke, is that we go bum 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 da dun dun bum 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 mambo.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I don't know.
And that's why I thought Ron has seen West Side Story.
No,
'Cause
I'll
he's
get
done
into
that.
my experience
Yeah,
as
yeah,
soon
we'll
as
get into
Blake
that
is
in a bit.
So I don't know. I just really like West Side Story. I love the soundtrack. I love a lot of the songs. That's like, I think everybody shower sings, right? That's like an easy to go to thing to shower sing is like.
Soundtrack slaps.
I like Tonight a lot, both versions. I sing those a lot in the shower. I love West Side Story. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm a pretty big West Side Story guy, and this is coming
let's go with
from.
Miles first. And
Okay.
then let's end with you, actually. Miles, what about you?
Okay, so I watched this probably like 10 or 12 years ago. West Side Story. I was a teenager when I watched it, and I was like, "Oh, musicals are dumb." You know, I had no taste back then. So I really hadn't thought about it much, and then this came out, or the 2021 one came out, and I was like, okay, you know what? I've grown a little bit. I remember like every single song from West Side Story. Also because my dad, literally, he's big on singing.
Yeah.
So he knows
I didn't
songs
know
to
that.
like all the musicals and stuff like that.
You want to
So-
bring up your?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, when my dad was in high school, he was in, I think it was the Western Illinois speech competition in high school, and there was a theater category, and his school got third in that theater production. He was the lead role in Taming of the Shrew, and the other two lead actors who got first and second, one of them was Gary Sinise, who was also performing the lead role in Taming of the Shrew.
Wait, Gary
And-
Sinise is your dad?
No, Gary Sinise is
Or saying his dad
Was-
looks like Gary Sinise? Is that what you're saying, Ron?
had to compete against Gary Sinise, and they got second. And then John Malkovich was he was performing a different play. I forget which one though, and he was the lead role in that. And his school ended up getting first in that competition. So yeah, my dad got beat out by Gary Sinise and John Malkovich. So
Understandable.
And those two met, right?
Yeah.
And they made a company.
yeah, they met there at that competition, and that's when they decided to start their company.
And sadly,
Yeah.
they just didn't meet Mr. Brian.
Yeah.
What's it called? Who knows? Your life would have been changed. You would have been Malkovich's like secret son or something.
I hope not.
What's it called? I cannot imagine
Yeah.
John Malkovich's dad.
Now,
You
I
ma-
can't imagine John Malkovich younger than 45.
I can't. He looked the same forever. Like how I imagine him being John Malkovich to now. All right, let's go. That was a nice little side tangent.
Yeah,
That was
the
pretty
thing
cool.
at the time though is they were kind of, they weren't famous yet. So my dad, when he saw their performances, he got very, very disheartened by them, and he was like, "Holy crap, these guys are so good!" It made him feel like he was like not good at all. But he, little did he know,
They're like world
some
class
of the-
talents.
yeah.
Particularly John Malkovich.
some
yeah.
of the greatest
Yeah.
talents.
World
Yeah.
renowned actors.
And so it's like, yeah, he doesn't feel too bad anymore for
Yeah.
losing to him.
How about you, Phil? What's your experience with West Side Story?
I watched this as a kid at my Uncle Bernie's house. He's the one who showed me like Old Boy. And,
Great Uncle Bernie,
Yeah,
dude.
I know.
This guy comes in clutch.
I know, like he showed me a lot because like my family, like maybe my mom, she showed me like fucking Princess Mononoke and those arms getting chopped off as a kid.
Had lasting effects.
Because I think like she didn't like care for Disney movies. She thought they were for pussies. My
right.
And my dad on the other hand
Hey, I
wouldn't let
love
me play
Disney.
Nintendo games
Old
because he
Disney.
thought they were for pussies. It's weird. So Uncle Bernie, when I go to his house, he would just like show us a bunch of stuff, and like the first one was Old Boy, and then Star Wars. That's the first time I seen Star Wars, the original New Hope, the theatrical editions, and then I saw West Side Story. But I don't remember much as a kid. I just remember like the songs like Tonight, like that one, and like Cool and Maria, like that song or Somewhere, like those songs like
met a girl named Maria.
so like that song.
And
Yeah,
honestly,
yeah.
even for people who haven't seen this movie, how many of the songs did you like recognize, Ron?
Oh, I'll get into it.
Yeah,
As soon as
okay.
Philip's
Yeah,
done.
Sorry.
let's
Yeah.
get into it. That's the reason why I left it at the
And
end.
suddenly I found
Yeah.
Yeah.
how
What's it called?
wonderful a sound could be.
So it's it's iconic in its own right, and then I just remember like had an impression on me, but I didn't remember much of it. I sometimes even forget that I've like watched it, but then I watched it recently again because I knew the remake was coming out, and then also in preparation for this film, so I wanted to see, because for me it's an interesting exercise to see a remake of like what they do, and what they don't change.
Mm-hmm.
And holy shit, just watching it again now, it's just like absolutely blew me away. It's a flawed film, obviously, like writing standpoint, racial stereotypes, literally brown facing is so obvious. Even like brown facing,
not aged well.
like brown facing a little Puerto Rican, like Vito Moreno, who's not that dark skinned in real life.
Yeah.
But I was absolutely transported with what's it called, with the visual language, the editing by Thomas Stafford, the music by by Leonard Bernstein, the lyrics from Stephen Sondheim, just the way everything was directed, and even without
guy.
Yes, shut the fuck up. Even the what's it called? Even the prologue where they're just not singing or dancing. I mean, they're dancing, but they're not saying any words, and it's just them snapping and like just showing like it's all like a mini movie in itself. Absolutely impressed. It's now is like definitely one of my favorite films of all time now, like after watching it. But I understand, I say it's like a very flawed masterpiece. Like not to spoil my ending at the end, but like my rating at the end, but the rating I give it is like with a caveat. It's I do love it. It's quite a thing. So that's why I was a little worried when 2021 remake was coming out, and I was like, Spielberg really, like, out of all the things you could do. But I'll get into that in a bit.
See, I felt kind of confident about Spielberg doing it because of a documentary that I watched earlier this year, which we'll probably mention later.
Right.
Yeah.
So my experience, West Side Story, it's like growing up a Hispanic person in SoCal, it feels like there are three kind of musical based movies that for some reason we all end up watching. It goes Selena for some reason, Grease for some reason, and West Side Story.
Grease.
Grease. You'd be surprised at how
I
many.
understand Grease, like just in general.
Yeah, hey, they don't have to be Hispanic related, okay? I'm just saying.
Yeah. But I don't know why that like that film out of all the other.
I don't know either, but there's a lot of Hispanics that like Grease, which hey, I like Grease too. It's a great movie. We should talk about it sometime. Anyway, but I'm 2 for 3 because I'd never seen West Side Story before. Never really had much interest in watching it. Before this podcast, the only songs that I knew that were from West Side Story were like I knew the Mumbo thing because of like from Family Guy and also our group thing.
Yeah.
And then I knew what's it called? I Feel Pretty from Anger Management.
Pretty.
Yeah, from like Anger Management. And then was another one that's that might be it, honestly. That was like I like
Not
no
Tonight.
No, I don't know tonight.
That's crazy to me.
That's
that you didn't know
crazy.
any of
I
never
Even the
heard
whistling
it.
from the
Maybe.
beginning?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'd seen images of West Side Story like everywhere. Of course, obviously, it's one of the largest musicals ever. So like, I've seen clips of the Jets like snapping their fingers going down the street.
Famous, and because he's made it such a meme for you that like you stopped to watch it.
No, I've just never had any interest in watching it.
Did that
Like
destroy your interest in watching it?
no, it didn't destroy my interest. I just didn't have any interest to begin with. So I just
You didn't feel like it was obligation as a film fan to actually watch those films.
it did feel like an obligation to eventually have to watch it at some point, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll get around to it, and I did. So here I am.
Okay, so what are your overall thoughts?
I really liked it. There's a lot of stuff that I, not to spoil anything else, but like that I preferred from this than the remake, and then
Okay.
vice versa. There's a lot of things I think that they did much better in the remake as well. So, but overall, like I think it's really great. There's, like I said, it's definitely not perfect. There's a lot of flaws.
There's some problematic elements of it.
Yeah, there's stuff where it's like, like this definitely was made in the early 60s because like it's like the brown facing and everything else. But like I think the choreography is fantastic. A lot of the cinematography is so fluid and energetic. The opening of the film like immediately pulls you in. I love the push and pull dynamic of like the Jets and the Sharks. I think it's great. And the vocal performances from everybody, of course, Rita Moreno steals the show.
Yes.
I could go on, but I really dug it. I love the color and the
Yes.
like. I was trying
The
to look up
production design, too.
whether it was shot in Technicolor.
Technicolor, yeah.
It was.
I think it was, yeah.
Because it stands out so much, and I just loved it. I felt like it was, like that kind of surrealist, dreamlike quality at certain parts, especially when Maria and Tony first meet at the dance. I think that was done perfectly.
I think in the 60s, like jibs and dollies weren't as like big, right? So they had to use a lot more stationary stuff. I mean, I know they had them, but it's not as like they as technically proficient now, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, definitely not. Like they had to make sure everything was down to a T, right, before they actually pulled the trigger.
But even with those limitations, like with just on sticks, like the framing's excellent, right? Like,
it's
they knew the Daniel Fop. Well, the greatest game is fantastic too. Like that guy, like just knew how to shoot. New York. Like better than almost anyone else.
Yeah, and I mean that's I'll say maybe for like the remake that I feel like the New York aspect of it wasn't as utilized as well. I think it's certain elements. I disagree with that. I feel like just even those overhead shots of New York, like I loved it. It kind of immediately sucks you into like this part of New York, and a lot of like this stuff. It didn't feel as it's weird. Some sets felt more like a set, like this is very clearly a set, and there are other parts of it where I'm like, this really does look like it's what at least I imagine what New York would look like. But yeah, no.
So which ones did you think kind of looked more like a set, and which ones did you think looked more like New York?
You mean the
there's like the scene where there's a bunch of doors. They're like in a junkyard area. I can't remember exactly, but I think that's when they sing. No, that's not the cool boy thing. But there's like one scene where the Jets are like hanging out, and then there's like a bunch of. Or no, the Sharks, and there's like a bunch of doors.
We have lost
like
Ronald.
Different painted doors around them. I don't know, but that scene was like very set like. Obviously, like the rooftop scene with America is like very set like. And like I mean, again, not to jump the gun, but they did that better in the remake.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just little moments like that. But no, throughout though, I really dug it. Yeah.
What's it called? It's So I mean, yeah. What's it called? Yeah. What about you? You already mentioned how much you love the series. I mean, let's get into for me the problems. Like, so we all talked about like obviously the production design, all the visual stuff is like absolute 10 out of 10 perfect. I think
I like the costume design a lot too.
Oh yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Riff's outfit top tier.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff with colors and outfits and stuff like that. And I feel like that was even more prominent and even better utilized in the 2021 version, though.
Well, 2021 is like a lot more grounded approach.
Yeah, right? They're not like all wearing like one color.
And because that just fits better with Janus's. Like, have you guys seen like Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan? Like,
yeah.
I mean, he pretty much shot everything after Schindler's List for Spielberg. Like, he just has like and he does have that like it's cinematic. You could tell up until shot on film, high contrast, almost noir look to it, but it's yet grounded at the same time. It's always sweaty. Like his films like have a lot of like people sweating.
Yeah, like I went back and forth at like scenes that I felt like were shot better in the original, and then that were now shot better in the 2021 version. Like the I don't know, like saying like when they first meet.
It's hard for me because it's just different styles, right?
Yeah, they were very, very different.
Yeah, they were.
Hard.
Yeah,
I can't even say because like personally for me though, actually no, we're jumping the gun in terms of like we're gonna go.
Yeah.
But let's get into so before we get into criticism, favorite performances. So you mentioned Rita Moreno. I think for me, Rita Moreno was also fantastic. She's a standout.
In which film?
No, we're talking about the original right now.
I know, but I had to make that joke at some point.
Original, I definitely say Rita Moreno. Yeah, she's probably easily my favorite.
Oh, am I going against the grain here?
I can talk about oh gosh, what's his name? Russ Tamblyn.
Yeah,
right?
I'm going to talk about. I don't know. Definitively, Russ Tamblyn for me is Riff in any version of this that's ever been made.
That blows my mind.
When I hear the word Riff, I think of Russ Tamblyn. I don't know why.
Did you know that George Chakiris, who played Bernardo, played the original in Riff?
I did not, but that makes sense.
Can you imagine like him without a brown face? Do you think that would have been better?
I don't know. I don't know why. I just think that Russ Tamblyn, when I think of that character Riff, who is like one of my dream roles to play, I think of him. I think he captures that role really well. So that's my favorite performance in the movie by far.
Yeah, he did good. I don't think there's a single, except all the brown facing shit. There's a single, and that is a big elephant in the room, like address.
Yeah, it's unfortunate too, because it definitely leaves a bad taste in the mouth when you have to talk about this movie.
Yeah, and because like the accents are so broad.
Yeah,
in the documentary Rita Moreno on Netflix, like she talks about how she would just audition for stuff, and they say do a Chinese accent. She'd be like this, and she'd do a Puerto Rican accent like this, and do a Russian accent like this. Perfect. That's all the same.
It's like it's an accent. That's fine. It's ethnic. Whatever.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck?
And it's just like so broad, and also like she had experience with like the makeup artist when they're doing brown face. Like you don't need a brown face. I'm actual Puerto Rican. Like Puerto Ricans have all different type of skin tones, right?
Yeah.
She's like, what do you know? Are you being racist right now? The hairdresser, a white hairdresser, and makeup artist is calling her racist. And it's just
Ridiculous.
problematic at the time.
Yeah, the lady who plays Maria, who's like white as snow, I guess in real life, and the guy who
Yes.
plays Bernardo,
Natalie Wood.
This
Natalie
one,
Wood.
George Chakiris, he's like Greek, which and, like to be fair, there are darker skinned Greek people, but this guy is very clearly.
You could
not.
clearly tell he was
Yeah, and
like you could
even
see the
then-
paint on the eye.
Yeah, even then, it's like they could have just fucking, if they really wanted to have a fucking this guy play Bernardo, it's like obviously you should have gotten a Puerto Rican dude, but if so, don't fucking brown his skin like Jesus.
Well,
no.
the one thing I am worried about now is, like with even movies like Othello getting canceled over blackface and stuff like that. Do you think that that the original West Side Story has the possibility now that there's the new version out
I
of
think
getting some backlash from the community?
it already had backlash before, so it's not gonna get canceled. It's not gonna disappear. It's like Gone with the Wind. Gone with the Wind had the problematic, the slave element.
I think that
but-
it's like something
It's just of the times.
it's something
Yeah.
you can enjoy. You just have to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
You have to like that's what I said, and it's really unfortunate because it leaves such a bad taste in the mouth. And it's like, I really like this movie. However,
You always have to
Barely
throw
any
that
Spanish.
caveat.
Barely any Spanish.
however, there is brown face. They don't speak Spanish. It's a little, but it was made in the 60s. I don't. It's a hard topic, right?
Yeah, it is, and
Like I said-
it's mistakes by the filmmakers, but you can't throw away the entire film because then you do throw away Rita Moreno's performance, who
Yes,
like
and Rita Moreno became a legend in her own right.
Mhm.
yeah, like through films like this, which she did have obviously a career outside of it, but it's like you can't completely discredit this film for being good at what it does, and then also still condemning it for its mistakes, and they're pretty big ones, but
Yeah.
still, yeah.
So besides the brown face, what other criticisms do you guys have? For me,
Besides the brown face,
yeah, besides the brown face, because that is a big thing. For me, it's I mean, like I said, it is it's hard because like in Broadway musicals, they operate on this like heightened musical reality, verisimilitude that they follow these rules that they follow, and it all follows them well in this film, right? And it's of the 60s of the time, but if you're just being extremely critical and nitpicky and stuff like that,
Mhm.
yeah, Tony and Maria not super developed. The relationships between
Weak.
characters were not like it's just like briefly mentioned and not said, and it's
Yeah.
more about the original impact. And I didn't have a problem with the romance in this one or the remake because Romeo and Juliet, the romance was just like it's impetuous,
a
it's fun.
terrible romance story.
Yeah, it's more about the language and the actual dialogue than the actual.
I was gonna say,
narrative.
I think Richard Beamer, who plays
Richard Beamer.
Tony Beamer, who plays Tony in the original, I don't like him that much.
No,
I
I
thought
don't.
he's like definitely like the weakest part for me.
But I'll give it this.
And
One thing
even-
I preferred from him over the original
Yeah.
is I think he's a much better singer than Ansel Elgort.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But I was gonna say Russ Tamblyn as Riff. I thought he was all right either. I know we're not getting comparisons yet, but the new guy was better.
I'm not gonna spoil my opinion. I know. I'll say this. I do like Ross Tamblyn a lot, but it's hard for him to say he's a standout because for me it's obvious. Rita Moreno,
Yeah.
and even Natalie Wood. It's just I could tell like also that she's super white as fuck and like, but she's really good at singing. I'll give her that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really good at singing, but she doesn't do the doe-eyed look as well in the new one. Like for me, Tony and Maria were the weak links. And you always talk about Tony being a brawler and stuff like that, and he doesn't really brawl.
Nah, he really didn't
And
feel like it at all.
Yeah,
I felt like just some dude.
and what's it called? And also like, some of the elements with the other elephant room, the sexual assault scene, and I understand why that was in the thing. It's like specifically, it's it is a criticism of toxic masculinity, right? Like that's really what's driving most of the conflicts. Like these two very masculine groups, and there are the ones bringing all the conflicts when it doesn't have to be, right? Not outside groups.
Yeah.
And so when you have a bunch of toxic masculine assholes, and like a girl by herself, defenseless, and especially this girl is the girlfriend or lover of your enemy,
Yeah.
Just like in war or whatever like that, they take advantage and they did some shitty things. And while like I think that might have been a mistake in terms of like your sympathies automatically completely go away from the Jets and go to the Sharks. But then again, I think that's fine because it might have been the intention too. Like I don't think like the Jets, they do better balancing in the remake, but it's I think it's very clear that the Jets were never supposed meant to be the good guys. None of them are actually.
Yeah. That's why, and they kind of spell it out in every version of this at the end where Maria's like, you, and she's like kind of pointing the gun at everyone and just being like, this is your fault to everyone.
Yeah. Oh, and then I guess like, it's just small little criticisms.
Is that a narrative about how even though we all feel that we're different and we're fighting over our differences, at the end of the day, everybody's the same?
Yeah, everyone's the same piece of shit. Yeah.
Yep. And then I know America. I was actually looking forward to America the most in the original. And I know you guys fucking left the theater. So
I left the theater because I spilled water all over Rosie.
I give. That's why I give you a pass.
Always gets
I get the because he actually has good passes. He has good passes. You have the worst passes. You have the worst fucking pass. You know what I mean?
I had to pee.
You could have peed at any time. You could have peed during Tony's song. You know what I mean? At the beginning.
Tony song?
What's called the when they said something's coming or something. Or when he talks about Maria, or you could have been quicker with your pee.
Yeah, I specifically made sure to not pee for like an hour before the movie, so I could pee right before it, and then I didn't drink anything just so I could see this whole thing.
Or if you're gonna pee, or if you're gonna miss, like just go
for
watch
the record,
it again.
I usually do not pee during movies. That's usually something I don't do.
He decided to pee in this one.
Yeah,
they're literally, and also an important character like that sets up later for Anita at the end, but especially in the remake. But I was looking for the America song because I remember just that like da 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 America, like that song is like very catchy. But when I watched it in the original, I was like pretty disappointed. I was like, oh okay, it's like at nighttime and they're on the roof. For some song that's like this vibrant or something like that. Yeah. The Mambo song is a little bit more visually appealing, right? Not saying it's bad, but it's just like not up to like what I remembered as a kid. And that's nostalgia lens, like not for this film's fault.
They also changed up some of the lyrics for America. Specifically when they were referencing Puerto Rico. Because
remember Rita was talking about the documentary, right?
Yeah.
By the way, you want to mention the documentary real quick?
Oh, yeah. So Rita Moreno came out with the documentary. Well, I don't think that she made the documentary, but the documentary was about her. And it came out earlier this year. It was Rita Moreno, just a girl trying to do it, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Something like that. It's on Netflix. Fantastic. I missed it in theaters. My mom told me about it after listening to NPR, and they were raving about it. And I was like,
everybody missed it in theaters.
No, I was like literally this close. I actually had my ticket at the Lamel in Claremont.
Yeah, I remember playing there.
Yeah, and I was going to go see it, but then my car broke down that day.
Just like it did for the last duel. I just
I know. Literally, whenever I've got like something I need to do, it feels like my car breaks down. But fortunately, I don't have that issue anymore. My car's good working order finally. But yeah, so really just amazing documentary. Looking through the lens of what it was like for Rita Moreno going into Hollywood, being the token ethnic person, as she said.
Yeah.
In Hollywood.
And that's where a lot of our context for like her experiences during West Side Story came from, right?
Yes.
Like they were like the lyrics were so much fucking worse.
Yeah. They're literally talking about like Puerto Rico being like a cesspool of disease and like terribleness and shit, and then they're just like, hey, surprise, that's offensive as fuck. So they decided to switch it up. And it really, one of the positive changes they did in the original.
And it still worked in the 2021 version, kind of, even with that dichotomy of it's like they were talking about the benefits of Puerto Rico versus the benefits of America instead of totally just trash talking Puerto Rico. And I think that was very good that they did that.
I think it's a real thing that a lot of not just Hispanics but immigrants deal with is like debating the benefits and the costs of like coming to America versus like going back home or something, where it's like, well, in El Salvador it's like really great now this, it's like, yeah, but also in America you can do this and that. So that is a real discussion that is often had. So
I think that's maybe another criticism I had of the original, where I feel like that didn't hit as hard, right? I was more amazed by the visuals, the performances, dancing, less so with the narrative and how well the thematic elements were handled.
I mean,
but-
it's hard for them to really capture that narrative
With no
because
Spanish or
they,
graphics.
they don't have well, and
Because
also
it's written by a bunch of white people.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They don't have those experiences to draw upon, so they don't
Yeah.
understand.
They probably
what
ignored
it's like.
Rita right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Although, again, I do like that they do mention that the sharks are made up by like former immigrants as well, like Irish, Polak, and, or Polish, sorry, and like Italian groups and shit. That they're like they used to be the bottom, and now they're kind of trying to be the top of the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But anyway,
Well, now they're just the top.
yeah. But I think again they do that better in the second one than they do in the first or the remake. I want to say.
So let's get into the remake. So I
Yay.
think, honestly, in terms of just script, as Ernest Lehman, there's a reason why he's one of the nominees of the Academy Award that didn't win. Not that it's a bad script or anything. I think it, did a banged up job of the time. But Tony Kushner, who is one of my favorite screenwriters, he has the books and stuff, and way handled Lincoln. I think he improved on narrative wise almost every single aspect of the film.
Yeah. I would say that kind of my take on this 2021 film is that it fixed what was broken and it improved everything else.
Yeah, definitely. Even like the way they shot it. Not saying the original one was bad. I think like because it's of its time and you can't be as dynamic with the character, the camera movements as you could with now.
So I do have a nitpicky complaint about the opening sequence. Was the focus puller on his day off or something when they shot that? Because
No, that's just what happens when you just.
No,
Yeah.
I know, but it really felt like a lot of things that were supposed to be in focus were out of focus, and the focus kind of was jumping all over the place throughout that opening sequence. Like I said, just a nitpick there. But
that I will say that is like an insanely complicated shot to do.
Oh yeah, that's impossible. To
like
be.
I said, like I said, nitpick. But
yeah,
yeah,
it's like there's
No, and I
like
think-
there's dancing, there's a shitload of extras. The camera's moving across like
No.
4 blocks.
I think the
Yeah.
focus puller did a fantastic job in like focusing on what should be on focus stuff because there was a lot of shallow depth of field in this one. Like they shot this, I think, on a Panavision anamorphic lens
Yeah.
because and you could tell whenever the lights were on, you could tell if it's like anamorphic because it has a specific like light streak to it.
Yeah.
That like other lens can't pick up that way that like other glass can, and just super wide framing. I did like that Steven Spielberg brought his classic Warner style to it, where he mixes a lot of different shots from like a shot that's like a close up, a wide, tracking, and make it all a tracking shot and like combine it into one.
Yeah.
And it made it a lot more dynamic, a lot more visceral, a lot more engaging. Like I was
I'll say like the big one for me was like the cool boy scene, like they're fighting over the gun and stuff.
Oh yes.
Like I saw that shot in the trailer where like they jump or whatever and they land and the gun hits the floor and it like it lands right in front of the camera and the camera just like tilts right up and you see their two faces as they're looking at each other, and I was like, that was an awesome shot. Like I can't wait to see that in the movie, and I was not really excited to watch the movie. But I was like, that one.
You know what visual sequence I loved was the G Officer Krupke, because that is okay. I love West Side Story. I love the songs in West Side Story. That has never been like one of the sequences I've loved in any version. For whatever, I thought this was like definitively the best version of that. I really liked it.
Oh yeah,
it was so much
that's
fun.
one of the songs that my dad used to
It was so
just
much
sing
fun.
randomly sometimes. Yeah,
Dear
Psychologically,
Officer
we are sick. We are sick.
yeah.
What's it
No,
called?
I
My
think
parents
that-
didn't want to have me, but somehow I was had. Golly lasers. That's why I'm so bad.
You didn't get riff?
Officer Krupke.
Yeah.
No.
I,
So
I think their use of props in that scene was what really made it.
right.
Yeah.
So we'll get into
Yeah, sorry.
placements of songs in a bit.
Yeah.
But like in terms of the visual elements, like and how they move the camera, I think that was. It's hard to say for an improvement because you just couldn't do that in 1960s. So they just had to do it. But it was visually more engaging, honestly, in the new one. And I think if you were to make a remake, this is probably the best fucking way to shoot like that aspect of it. And just also with the dialogue scene too, were just a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting to follow. Just because the camera would like you know when to tilt and know when to do low angle, know when to high angle. Of course, he would know how to do this. He's fucking Steven Spielberg. He's a master of visual language and how to be a subtle master fucking mind of your emotions. And Janusz Kaminski, who's low key one of the best cinematographers. Everyone goes about Emmanuel Lubezki and suck his cock off, but it's Janusz Krasinski. I think is even better in my opinion, or about the same.
I really enjoyed. They used a good amount of lens flare to like good effect throughout
It's
this.
like it's not even like I guess the lens flare just naturally happens because
Yeah,
like that
but-
glass picks up light that way.
But it feels like it was chosen to be there.
All right, especially
you know,
you're
it
talking
was
about
like,
the scene where Tony and Maria meets, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
absolute
like
dreamlike.
the whole thing is with like lens flare, you can kind of tell when it's intentional and when it's not, because a good cinematographer is going to know the equipment that they're working with, and it's going to know what causes those things to happen, and is able to cause them to happen or able to prevent them from happening.
So
and
you
I
mean the
feel like that
difference
was
between
very
J.J.
effective.
Abrams and Steven Spielberg? Okay, makes sense. Yeah,
But I mean, you understand what I'm saying, though.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
I'll say like with that first scene when they first meet in the dance and everything.
Mhm.
Again, big parts of it that I loved were like they both eye each other. The lights kind of focus in on them, like dies down everywhere else. They're like the people are zipping by each other, and I like that they actually go under the bleachers, like they go away. So it just makes more sense why they would have more time to themselves. They can actually talk and become slightly intimate. Because when like the original, when they're just like about to make out like in the middle of the dance floor, it's like, yeah, someone got stabbed by now. Like, you know, this is ridiculous. But I love the weird little like it looks like colored lights or something that are like slowly trickling down in the original. That looks so great, which I feel like that's what they were maybe trying to capture, or at least kind of, you know,
Recreate.
adapt a little bit with like the flares that were used very purposefully. Yeah.
And I did like that, you know, a lot of like, you know, like it would have been very easy just to redo the opening for the overture and the West Side Story, or to redo that scene where everything's like out of focus except like fisheye focus on the two characters in the original. But I did like that he took the spirit of that, but just did different visual things to do it in his own style.
So, what did you think of the actual like scenery change behind the bleachers? So after they're done kissing, and they basically get caught back behind the bleachers, and then they drop out of that haze of just like beauty, and
Snap
then you
back
see
to reality.
Yeah, and you see instead of it being this beautiful, pristine area back behind the bleachers, you know, you've got all this junk and you got different balls and stuff back
That was
behind
great.
the bleachers.
That was
and
great.
stuff.
Yeah, it's a cool
I thought
touch.
that was a very cool visual effect, and
If-
it snapped to it just so naturally.
If anything,
Yeah.
I mean, again, I don't. Are we doing comparisons yet? Or
We are. This is whole. Yeah. This
okay,
whole
so
thing,
then like I liked the, like you said, like that the red and black transition scene from the original that I really liked, because
Yeah,
it
that
felt
was
like
really
it,
cool.
it leaned more into that
dreamlike
atmosphere more in the original, which I wish that they had done more in this one. But overall, at the same time, like again, they're very different versions of
Yeah.
it.
I think it had to be
But-
more because they are
Yeah.
specifically making it more realistic with
Yeah.
like the characters and updates and stuff.
But I would have liked some more moments like that, because I don't know. For me, I like when musicals step up the surrealness of it.
Right.
But nah, that's just me.
yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
do
cool.
like the surrealism of the first one. But,
I do too.
But yeah,
it
it's
was it was
different.
present in
It's
this one.
not
I think
as, but it's not
But-
like I said, like the dance scene, of course.
it,
That's
it
we
was
keep
more
talking
kind
about
of
it.
like
A lot more
it was
grounded.
kind of.
Yeah, it was more
I
grounded.
would say that it's there. It's kind of just disguised a little bit. It really
Yeah,
felt
no, it's,
like
it's a subtle magic.
you still got the
realism.
feeling of it without it being there. If you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's a little more subtle about it, and I think I liked it because I actually didn't want them to take the same surrealistic approach, because I felt like creatively it would have been more bankrupt. I think like in the sense that then, you know, what's the point of a remake, right? There's no point. I would just watch the original, right? I mean, I guess
I get that, but
And then-
I feel like again they made enough narrative changes, or enough like, you know, moves around in terms of like the, like, you know, where songs were, which I do disagree with one. And
Yes, I know
Are you
what
talking
you're
about Somewhere?
No, I think me and Blake on the same page of I feel pretty.
That has a terrible placement.
That was like the biggest criticism I had. I was like, it just felt so out of place, and such
two
like a
main
big shift in
characters
tone.
have just died, and then we
Yeah.
instantly cut to
and Tony
I
essentially
Feel
just throws
Pretty.
his life away.
Yeah,
And then it was just like, and then it cuts to I feel pretty.
I thought that
and I was
was
like,
very
wow. I was like,
odd.
why here? I was like, this
I
feels
disagree
weird.
with that, because I feel like we were going to her mindset, right? Because she
Yeah.
doesn't know about that yet.
I know.
no,
right?
I
know.
just think tonally, in terms of like the movie, it's just a little jarring. Like,
yeah. That's like really the only major criticism I have of the
I
movie.
think 'cause
could you
I think-
imagine
I think
if
it's
in Breaking
purpose- I
Bad
think
when
it is
Hank gets gunned
purposely.
down, it cuts to Walter White going, "I feel pretty." Yeah, so with
No,
you.
but I think that purposely does this though, because when she receives it, right, it's just as jarring, right, for her, because it's like just coming up
Okay,
from a
maybe
place
if
of
they,
love.
I know this would have been like a sin against like a musical god, but like maybe if like they cut into it like in the middle of the song, like Chino runs in and like interrupts the song and is like, "Bernardo's dead," head, like maybe that could have worked.
I kind of like that idea.
That would be a sin against the musical god, and you know it, and people would have bitched and complained.
I was not okay with
but
that.
I don't know. I just think tonally, it's kind of jarring that we go from like one of the most dramatic moments of the entire movie, and one of the big and like what kind of kicks off the ending.
But it's also
to that.
It's also start of Act 2, right? It's like a refresh.
I don't know.
That's how it was in the original too. Anyway,
it's reversed.
No. Well, I mean this one. Oh wait, what?
I'm saying it's I Feel Pretty, and then it moves on to the fight scene.
So I think that.
You're right.
It works for me where I Feel Pretty is placed because it's kind of like because
our world crashing down.
Yeah, because you've seen the shit that's just gone down, and then she's singing this song. It kind of makes it feel like somber, you know, and it's like it's almost counting down. Like I'm saying it could have worked. When is it going to shift?
It could have worked. It could have worked, but it just didn't work for me. Like I said, if like what I just said to Ron, like
and that's a little too stagey for like.
I know it's a fucking musical. It's too stagey.
No. For a moment like that, and also that's out of character for Chino.
I know.
Chino, they established
he just runs in and then just shoots Maria. He's like,
Maria, Bernardo's dead, bitch.
I feel pretty. It feels totally jarring and not in a good way for me.
Maybe
I get what you're saying, and I think it could have worked. And if that's what they're going for,
I think it did work because
it doesn't work for me. That's a no from me,
right?
Because
you have bad taste. But I'm just kidding.
Hey, I also feel like it was off, but I think again, if we're moving into improvements or like changes, I know you had a problem with Chino. I'm talking to you, meaning Blake, that he didn't like that Chino was like a main character, or like, yeah, he was a main character.
Well,
yeah, I actually really like that because then again, watching the original, I was like, wait, who? This is Chino? Yeah, he's just some random dude that just like decides to shoot Tony, and it's like, no,
like that Chino is just some guy.
I like that he has stakes again. That he's like the guy who
he's emotionally involved. It makes more narrative sense of why he wants to kill Tony.
Yeah, he was best friends with Bernardo. And then he was obviously trying to woo Maria, but he's like super awkward, and she's like, yuck. So she's
got a case of ick.
I was gonna say, hey Maria, you know you're supposed to dance with the one that brought you.
And it also adds to the tragedy at the end. He has a promising future, but he throws it all the way.
Exactly. It shows how much this corrupts. Like,
yeah, I agree that that's interesting. I don't know. I don't like that Chino's rebranded as like an awkward nerdy guy. Like he's just a gangster in the original.
I think that works better. Because in this one, there's a reason why she chose Tony over this fucking nerdy ass bitch. Yeah. It's like, why the fuck would I get nerdy ass Chino when there's Ansel Elgort, ready to ride me all the way to sundown?
This handsome Patrick Swayze looking motherfucker,
giant.
Who actually,
I feel like Chino works better as a character in this movie simply because he is
all characters.
No, he is the guy who is smart, has the opportunity to make it out of this area. He's like the people that they were talking about earlier in the film. The white guys that made it out and left the rest of the Jets behind. But he's like that, but for the Puerto Ricans. And you see him throwing away his opportunity throughout the movie through basically being like, I want to be strong. I want to have this machismo. I want to, I want to defend our community and stuff like that. And you see basically that this war is not just destroying the people who are used to fighting it, it's also destroying the people who did have a chance.
Yeah, it drives home the idea of the whole toxic masculinity being like, because being the doom of these characters.
When he does adopt it, it's a tragic end to it. I mean, literally ends with the final shot. It's like a wide shot of Rita Moreno holding a gun, waiting for the cops to come.
Which I understand it wouldn't exactly fit the tone or anything, but like the cops just like calmly go over to Chino and just put their hand on their back like, all right buddy, we gotta take you into custody. It's like, I'm sorry, if this was real,
I thought they were gonna arrest Rita Moreno too, because she was the one who had the gun.
If this was real, what is this, like the 50s, right? Like if this was real 50s New York and Chino just shot this like white guy, they would have like beat the shit out of him and like dragged him off, dude. Like it would have been way more dark, but I mean, I get it.
They never saw the body.
They didn't see the body. Just kind of walks into
the just carried off the body. Like they'd walk past these dudes carrying off a dead Tony.
And then Doc just kind of like
yeah, they're just like, it's all right, guy, don't worry, let's just get you into prison. It's like, no way, dude. This guy would have
let's get your life sentence started.
What did you think of Rita Moreno replacing Doc in this movie.
Improvement.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah,
I think
that
it's
was
an improvement.
that was
I
much
think it was even
better.
better.
Again, I like that they
He's more of a character.
Yeah, exactly. The relationship with Tony was
It works well,
It
yeah.
works so much better. I feel like them working as like, kind of an example of like, oh shit, like this can work, like
Right.
if I can do this, and
Hitting home the
gives more
immigrant
hope.
experience and the
Yeah.
and like intergenerational thing much better.
and that shit of where they're like, they're basically like, how the sharks just kind of give her a pass. Because they're like, oh, it's okay, kind of like because she's married to like a white guy, or like because they're like, yeah, it's okay, like she passes or whatever. It's just like that shit. I don't know. It feels way more real, and
I feel like that
yeah.
even holds up nowadays, where a lot of people who are quote unquote white passing get
Yeah.
feel like they can get further in society.
If anyone
Yeah.
wants to watch
Yeah.
the best film about white passing this year, is Passing, directed by Rebecca Hall, which I think tackles this topic super well.
watch it. But yes,
Which
So
we will
I
cover one
feel
day.
like having her there just it added a lot, and
Yeah.
also even like little
also
cute
having-
scenes too of like her trying to teach Spanish to Tony and shit. Like,
Which is great.
again, it's great. Expands his character more. Shows that he's not just some dude who's just like, oh,
In the original, it's just like, you're hot, I'm hot.
yeah,
Fuck yeah.
let's do this. And it's like,
And this one, he's making an effort. They're going to church.
he's like,
They're
I want to
actually
like,
talking.
take her on a date. I want to go like do this stuff
Yeah.
with her. How do I tell her that like I like her and everything, or that I love her?
It's like young teen, young love.
And then
Yeah.
again, her weighing it down a bit too. She's like, how do I say that I love you forever and whatever?
You
She's
don't
like,
ask
how about you start with like, you're
You
pretty.
wanna get coffee.
You know?
You
Yeah,
wanna
you want to
get
get coffee. Like, oh shit, great. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
and speaking of the Spanish stuff, what do you guys think about the way they handle Spanish in this film?
It's
Not
way better.
subtitling and also putting it in, and that way they depicted the characters doing it.
It's better.
personally
It's way
love it.
better, yeah.
I think it's way better.
This is another situation for me where I feel like they did it in a way where nothing was lost
Yeah, no, I agree.
through it. I would have actually said it. Surprisingly enough, somebody who doesn't speak Spanish, I would have said they should have had more Spanish.
so I was kind of, it was a bit mixed for me, because initially I was like, I feel like them not having subtitles does take a little bit away. Like, I think for people who don't speak Spanish, I would think like they would want to understand what they're trying to say, and I know a lot of it is
But
expressed through the
yeah.
body language and through the context. So
And they
it's
also
still,
sometimes
You
like
could
when they say
still
speak
understand.
English,
Yeah.
speak
Yeah.
English, he says like the actual Spanish stuff like translated right after.
yes.
Yeah.
So there is a narrative reason for it, I see too, because it also is a big thing too with immigrants that when they come here and they speak Spanish or whatever, and then people are like, hey, you got to learn to speak English, whether it's in a malicious way or not. It's like, it's very different when your family's telling you like, oh, you got to learn to speak English to like, it just helps you easier to get by here. And then versus, some dude in like a Starbucks yelling at you to speak English. Yeah. It's like, but they used it both. Like, they used it both times with like the asshole cop guy. What's his name? Shrank?
Krupke or
Yeah.
Shrank?
No, it's
Shrank.
not Krupke, it's Shrank.
Shrank,
Yeah.
who's just like, hey, fuck, speak English to me. She's like,
Who, I
"Ugh,"
think
and
it's
she like
also an
laments it
improvement in
more.
this film.
Yeah,
For
he
himself,
seems like
yeah.
he's like just a piece of shit, dude.
Oh, even Krupke is in a like Brian Darcy James as Krupke. Like every single character was an improvement.
yeah, he was fine. I mean, I like that he just
Added
looks
him a little
so
extra.
exhausted.
Exactly, that's why I like that. Like the actor was able to convey more of that.
Every time
more
that he just
memorable.
shows up and he's just like, oh god, like it's another fucking situation here that I'm dealing with. Yeah, no. So again, it was a real mixed bag. At first, I was like, I feel like you might be taking away something from the non-English speaking audience to understand they're
But
saying,
I
because
don't
also
think
they
that
threw in a
did.
couple jokes every now and then that I was like, ha, but like no one else got, and I was like, oh, I kind of wish you guys heard that or understood it, but like
I
think
don't
that's a
know
nice Easter
why.
egg for, like, Spanish speakers.
Really quick
Yeah,
side tangent
yeah.
about Shrank. I don't know why, but when I was younger and I was like, if I directed West Side Story, my casting for Shrank was what's his name? He's in Watchmen, Supernatural.
You mean
he's,
wait,
uh,
are you talking
Negan.
about
Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
Yeah, Negan. I don't know why. I was always like, Jeffrey Dean Morgan would be a good Shrank.
yeah, I think he could
He
be
could
a
be
good
good.
Shrank.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan could
I
actually
mean,
play
it's kind of a
anything.
small
I think
role,
Corey
but-
Stoll did good though.
Yeah,
I think he fits it more. It's like
Yeah,
there's
he-
lots of stuff. And he also like I just watched Many States in New York not too long ago, and very similar character. What's it called? Yeah, he was good. I like Corey Stoll ever since House of Cards, and Wasted in Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I was gonna say House of Cards is where he first broke out for me.
Yeah. What's
A
it called?
lot of actors, but yeah. Anyway, yeah.
What's it called? What's it called? Yeah, I agree with that, and also I understand where you're coming from regarding that, but I guess my Spanish is not the best. Like I used to be better, but like after like high school, it just which I gotta keep up again. But I do feel like at least when you add the subtitle element of it, it just makes it feel more foreign, right? Like it makes it feel more foreign than it is. The whole point is to keep everything on a neutral level, like both languages on equal power.
So the weird thing is, maybe it's just growing up in California where I'm used to having people speak Spanish and I have to learn how to understand from context clues and kind of like what's going on. And I know that I'm not going to understand everything. I was fine with it not having subtitles, and I didn't feel like it detracted from the movie at all.
No,
yeah.
I
do love that it does. They increase the amount of Spanish where they actually are speaking more Spanish to each other and whatever, but also not to the point where they're like only speaking Spanish again, where they actually are also trying to encourage each other to speak English too, because that's a very serious thing.
Like Bernardo es muerto, right? And then like Bernardo's dead, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I like that they said afterward because like, what if someone, but then because I was like that would have been weird if like they actually said that without saying English, because that's like a key plot point. But yeah, no, I like that. It made it more authentic, ultimately, and the immigration things happen more often. And also, I mean, you guys were not here, so I guess talk to Miles more on the American song. Like, let's talk about like the song placements, because they changed a lot. Like besides "I Feel Pretty," you guys mentioned that, but like one of the big ones is and besides the song placements, and we also talked about the Officer Krupke one that you mentioned, which I think was an improvement.
Yes,
that was a major improvement. Both on choreography was this like
it was.
Fantastic.
I think that's also what makes it for me too. Was just how it was choreographed. Like it's such a fun scene,
and also it just made more sense at a police station.
While
they're waiting and stuff. Yeah, like Tony Kushner, I give him a lot of props for incorporating songs in a better way. And I even though it's not placements, I do like the fact that Ansel Elgort has a backstory of him almost killing somebody in the last Rumble, which just adds to the heights of the Rumble.
It really helped to amplify his character and take him to the next level from an emotional standpoint, and you understand why he's over this whole war thing.
Yeah,
and he's like, my fighting days are kind of over now. I'm not going to be taking part in this.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen the horrors of what this is doing, and I want to make a change.
What's up? Yeah, and I do like that part. But for placement of songs, I think like almost every placement I like. Even I Feel Pretty. I know you guys disagree with that part. And one of the biggest things I like.
It's okay. You have bad opinions.
It's good. You suck dick. What's it called?
There's nothing wrong with sucking dick.
What's it called? What's it called? You want to suck? Okay. Enough with sucking dick. But one thing I love the most is the songs that change locations, right? By the way, the cool is also I like the fact that they gave it to Tony, and while they're trying to get rid of it just made it more dynamic.
Oh yeah, Cool was much better, I think, in this one.
Yeah, but I think for America, which I think was one of the, along with the gym scene, was one of the, and the Rumble, but it's one of the standouts of the film. And you guys, don't comment because you guys, but I do like the fact that they changed the location from nighttime on the roof to like in the streets of New York. And then it also just added more because they were also using some visual elements from the fucking song into it and just made it more colorful, more dynamic. And this, which when we get into favorite performances, like absolutely made Anita shine. Ariana DeBose is a revelation in this film.
She's great. I feel like she really turned up that accent though at a certain time where I was just like, I feel like maybe did you not watch hear some of the criticisms of the first one? I mean
that's the reason why.
Do you want to start World War III?
That's the reason why Bernardo says that you want to get rid of the accent.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying.
But
that's
like
she
character.
Yeah, but like she like they're talking like this, and I was like, I told that to Rosie, and she's like, "What if she talks like that?" I was like, "I guarantee you, she doesn't talk like that." And she's from like one of the Carolinas, so no, she doesn't. Yeah. But I was like, I think she was a fantastic actress throughout, though. Like, I think her performance was fantastic. I think her music and her singing ability, or her dancing and singing abilities were like, again, one of the things that like really stole the show. Again, that same Anita character just outshined Maria, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Just I feel like she could have toned back the accent a tiny bit.
Because like that accent, like the whole how thick it was just like it was a good it had a good cognitive dissonance with like her actions and what she is. Like her whole character arc, right, is
how
like,
much she wants to be American.
Yeah, he wants to be American, but her accent is it's thicker than fucking Bernardo's.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, and then she's just constantly doing it. She's constantly rejecting her Puerto Rican roots until the very end.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I get that. Yeah.
So I think like that was a purposeful choice.
Again,
right?
Great addition to her character. Again, her deciding to kind of turn against it.
Yeah.
Therein. I like that.
And that's why, like,
Great.
with American, like, you know, that's why I was like a little on you guys skipping out, because the whole point was her arguing with Bernardo. Like, the song is an argument between her and Bernardo about the benefits of living in America versus.
That's all the original one too.
Yeah, but it's way better. It's like made way differently in the new one, especially in the streets. And that had like such an impressive long take, which you guys are gone. But
yeah, it was very impressive.
I saw the opening and then the ending of it.
Well, you missed a lot.
Yeah, the ending part was the fucking best.
Yeah, and the choreography was amazing during that scene, and then also just with them changing up the lyrics, it felt a lot more like a debate and a conversation about the benefits of one versus the other, and it was
and it helped set up at the end her final moments, right? It was a lot more powerful in this one than it was in the original, where after she gets sexually assaulted and she leaves, she doesn't say I'm American, she says yo soy Puerto Rican, Puerto Rico, right? Or Puerto Rican, or
Puerto Riqueño.
Puerto Rican. And not saying Rita, like I said, I think Rita Moreno did a fantastic job, but I think like in that moment it was super fucking powerful, and she left and just completes her arc well in a better way than it was in the original. And not Rita Moreno's fault, more like the writer's fault. And also, like, I do like the fact that directly afterwards, Rita Moreno was like telling them, yeah, you guys are fucking rapists. Right?
Yeah, that's a good addition.
And it's like, it's true, and they were all feeling guilty afterwards and about like the effects of their toxic masculinity. You even see like the fucking Jets grow a little bit, like, yeah, oh fuck, yeah, we're assholes. Yeah, and I like there was a lot more attention
Riff's
to
girlfriend was like getting pissed.
She wasn't
off
inhumane bitch where she's like, okay, let's rape this bitch. No, she was like, no, don't do it. You know. And I like that. There's like so much more attention to detail for every single little aspect. Even Maria, I think Rachel Ziegler fucking outperformed the fuck out of Natalie Wood. One, her singing was fantastic, and she did the doe-eyed look so much better. Yeah.
She felt like
an actual teenager.
An actual teenager who is like struck with like love and just all like, oh my god, I love the dude so much or whatever.
There's like something,
but also she had her own agency, which I really appreciated. Her standing up to Bernardo and everything, and also Anita.
I can do what I want.
Yeah, both of them being like, hey, how about you fucking back off? Like this is my choice, my life. I like that a lot.
And I also liked she's not just immediately taken in by Tony, like not immediately saying I love you or anything like that. Because then Tony was all about I love you, I love you, I love you.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, hold it, buddy.
She's a little more realistic. Yeah. Which is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I love that like the church scene is a little bit of an homage to the original shot of them too. Remember like when they were kissing, and this like half of it was red, half of it was blue.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this one it was like instead with the church windows and stuff.
Yeah, that was really cool. Also, I really love the when he goes to her window or he goes up to like the fire escape and everything. I felt like the choreography and the
that was
staging,
probably the best shot scene.
The blocking of the actors and moving through and around the grates as they're singing each other through that, and eventually it's like you just want to see him climb over and just join her already, and he finally does, and it's like it's so satisfying.
So speaking of kind of colorization or colors and stuff like that, one thing that I really liked about Maria was, she starts out the film when you first see her, she's wearing a white dress, right? And then she gets that red belt for the white dress because red is what symbolizes the sharks, right? And as she goes through the movie, once she gets to the dance, then she starts to wear a lot more reds and yellows and things like that. Yes. So you see her kind of becoming in the sharks instead of being just an innocent and outside of the whole conflict. She is now on that side, whereas Tony wears a lot of blues throughout the film, and as well as all the Jets do. And then at the end, her final dress that she's in is a blue dress, where it shows that she has left the Sharks and has joined the Jets.
Yeah,
and,
which I think she's wearing a red one at the original, right? At the end.
I don't remember.
I want to say she was, but
it was. All right, so let's get into real quick because we're winding down the podcast. Standouts and like what's it called? And the characters they prefer, and actually some of the actors that I know Blake already has one that you felt like did a worse job than the original in some regards.
Oh, should I clarify that? I don't think they did a worse job. I think,
or you just think they weren't cast as well, right?
It's less about that. It's more like, okay, I mean, I have certain things I've thought about, like if I directed this, what would it be? And this is one of them. And it's just so Mike Faced. Do you know how to say his name?
I think Mike Faced. Yeah.
Mike Faced. I think he did, for the record, I think he did a great job in acting out that role. I thought he did a great job as Riff. It's just when I first saw him, it's not who I would have cast as that. Physically, he's not who I imagine. And in fact, I actually thought Ansel Elgort kind of looks like how I imagine Riff to be a little bit more. Because like, let's say hypothetically, this didn't happen and a studio came to me and was like, Blake, make West Side Story. Here, cast anyone you want.
Horror.
Like I would have cast Joe Keery as Riff. I don't know why. That's
No, Joe Keery would have been better as Tony.
I don't
Are
know.
you fucking kidding me?
See, this is where I think that Blake doesn't understand West Side Story because I think that Riff was cast perfectly.
I think that in terms of acting, I think terms in the performance, I think he was perfect. I think that he absolutely
his face looks like somebody straight from the 1960s Hollywood.
I was gonna say I was like
he looked perfect. He sounded perfect. I mean, like I can't see how you can ever complain about it.
Abused masculinity not through his physicality. Even though in this one he's actually kind of ripped in some ways, like he's lean ripped.
He's scrappy.
Yeah, he's supposed to look scrappy.
Which
he's poor. I
was gonna say I appreciate that more. I think his physicality. I'm sorry, Blake. I'm on the opposite with you on this one. I feel like Mike Faced was much better cast. I didn't really like Russ Tamblyn that much because I think he is kind of too handsome and a little too like. Suave or whatever.
For somebody super poor.
If anything, I feel like he kind of takes away from Tony a little bit. But with like Mike Faced, he's got that like scrappy look, like you said. He does look like someone who would just be like who's like grown up on the streets and is just like real angsty and angry about everything that's happened to him and kind of just projecting it out to the to the rest of the world.
I think it's a good performance, by the way. And I would even say it's my favorite performance in the movie. I don't know what it is. Russ Tamblyn just really got in my head the first time I watched it, and that's Riff to me.
Lens.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, that is what it is. I can acknowledge that.
And then I'll say this because at least with like the original Broadway and stuff like that, like Tony's always supposed to be the more physically taller, handsome, and imposing person, and Riff is supposed to be more like the scrappy younger brother, even though he's not really technically. But that's like how the dynamic.
That's the relationship.
Yeah. I keep saying that. Like I think Ansel Elgort reminds me of a young Patrick Swayze. But it's like if I could have casted anybody in this role, I think it's because I'm picturing Patrick Swayze. Yeah, he's got the dances, he's got the look and the suave. Just not when he looks like 45, which is most of his movies.
Yeah, I think what's it called? Yeah, I think Mike Face and what's it called? Who? Yeah. Like I said, super boost in might has an outshot of getting nominated. I hope he does. I think he's absolutely fucking great in this film. What's it called? But when it comes to Tony,
and I like when he died. Did you guys hear in the theater when Riff dies? Some girl went, "No!"
And this one was like a lot more.
Have you not seen the original?
It's a lot more impactful, I guess. Like in terms of it's just like the knife is just hanging there and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, I felt like they're both of their deaths.
They're more brutal.
Yeah, were way more brutal, and then Toadie's response felt much more emotional and just like again grounded. Just felt like I could see why it's like every part of you scream like don't do it, man, but he does it. So,
but Ansel Elgort, even though I think acting wise did a pretty good job, and even though I don't think he had that much charisma in this one, surprisingly, because he had he was charismatic in Fault in Our Stars and Baby Driver. In this one,
I think that it worked for the way that they did his character in this one though, because he was supposed to be more repentant.
Yeah, I would have casted not him. Because the thing is and the reason why, because it's a studio thing, you have to sell. He was a hot young teen actor now, or not teen actor, young actor that they have to attach to the film.
I've never heard of him.
Really?
What's it called? He's being sarcastic.
I think that you got in Timothy Chalamet to.
What's it called?
As Riff.
He's too short. What's it called? Not saying he's short, but he's not like.
Yeah, he's not short, dude.
No, he's like 5. He's not 5. He's not 6 foot yet. Like
Timothy Chalamet.
He's not 6 foot or anything.
Oh no, sorry, I meant his Riff. I don't know.
Oh no, I was talking about for
my
Tony.
bad. Tony. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I don't know, physicality and everything. He has that, but I think maybe could have boosted charisma. But the main thing is his singing. I think not bad. It's good, serviceable. But
it's not memorable though.
No, it's not memorable. Definitely in comparison,
when he was singing, Riff's singing was memorable.
Because they're all Broadway trained actors.
Rita Moreno's singing was very memorable too.
That's one of the things I
think that was a little bit just because she is just so amazing in her own right that anything that she sings is going to sound amazing.
I like all these the major characters and everything were pretty much unknowns. Like I know they're not completely unknown, of course, but they were not that recognizable.
Rita Moreno, she just came up, right?
Yeah, except for Rita Moreno.
But Rachel Ziegler, when Ansel Elgort was singing with her, it's like the vocal disparity. The vocal disparity between what's it called? For audio only listeners, Miles had a weird like finger like moment where he took some of our papers for some reason. What's it called? It's so apparent of like how much vocally like he's on a different level, like in a bad way, than the others when he was singing with Rachel Ziegler, who just kills it. And I think like honestly, that's I mean, it didn't do enough to completely like knock a peg down for this fucking film, but I wish they casted somebody else, like a Broadway trained actor for this.
Well,
because let's be honest, it's like Ansel Elgort's like he's famous, but he's not gonna fucking put seats in the butts in the seats. Yeah.
Well, I feel like they didn't want to go with too many established people, and like even with characters like Chino.
Exactly. It's weird with Ansel Elgort.
Well, I mean, Chino,
I mean, not weird because they had to for money wise.
Like Chino, he's only got one acting credit to his name at this point, and that was basically in the cast of Hamilton for like the national tour, not like Broadway Hamilton.
Yeah,
just touring. And that was the only thing that he had before this. And there's a lot of other actors in this who they really hadn't had any major roles beforehand. And I think that's interesting, seeing new fresh faces brought to light.
Yeah.
I
can't wait to see. I can't wait to see what Rachel Ziegler or Ariana DeBose or David Alvarez or Mike face.
Is it DeBose or DeBose?
DeBose, I don't know.
The weird thing is, for a lot of these actors, they've got more stuff that's like in pre-production or in production right now.
Yeah,
Rachel Ziegler has
so they got more stuff coming up than they've done before.
Yeah, because they got casted in West Side Story, Steven Spielberg's adaptation.
Like excited for all their careers.
You're gonna see a lot of these faces again. Yeah.
Like Rachel Ziegler, Ariana DeBose, and Mike Face. Dude, Ariana DeBose, just one more time. She's a fucking amazing. Just imbues charisma every time she's on screen.
Yeah.
It's like I like I said, it's right now it was I think Catriona Balfe, the one who plays the mom in Belfast. She was a favorite to win for Best Supporting Actress, but now Ariana took over. And I think well deserved.
Really? Oh.
Yeah. She's a favorite to win, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Rita, who knows, might win too, because she's also on the tracking. All right, so wait, what were you about to say? You seem like
no, nothing. Sorry.
I feel like they could give it to Rita just because of how impactful she's been in Hollywood, and I know sometimes
she's already won an Oscar,
but you know
she's
what I mean.
She's got an EGOT.
Where
sometimes
she's fine. I'll say this: they might just give it to her because like the narrative of like for like stuff like that. But I hope they don't.
Yeah,
I
don't think
Ariana is just like fucking amazing in this film.
Yeah, she was
honestly. I think that if it came down to her versus Ariana, she would probably be the type of person who would not accept it and be like, no, like pass this to the next generation.
Yeah.
I don't think they do that, but yeah.
But wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
And Rachel Ziegler is like, I think she's up there as best actress and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think Rita Moreno did a good job, but like I don't think it's Oscar worthy. The performance, she didn't have that much to do. To be fair, I'm not saying it's anything against her performance. I just don't think she should win an Oscar for it.
The Oscar race is wild right now. We'll get into that in our future Oscar episode. So okay, let's wind this down. Let's give our final ratings for the film because we are approaching 3-hour mark.
This is one of our longer episodes. Sorry guys.
What's it called? But honestly, very impassioned. I liked it. I guess a little more energetic. Maybe because we're also cold. Like for audio only listeners, there's like a lot of
we're freezing. I'm wearing 3 jackets right now, and I am still cold.
And a beanie.
Yeah, and I farted at least 3 times. No one noticed. Thank God.
And then meanwhile, Miles is wearing like gym shorts.
Yeah,
and
I don't know how the fuck you were.
I'm wearing a t-shirt, gym shorts, and sandals.
Dude, I'm wearing
all these guys are
3
like
jackets. And I am freezing.
I literally gave Blake my jacket because he was like, "I'm so cold right now."
I gave him my other jacket.
I like suffering in the cold, so for me it's dope. All right, so let's go into final ratings for each film. Let's start off. In the Heights, let's go boom, 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 everybody. Blake, non-existent. So I'm just kidding. Blake, what's yours?
Bargain bin. I'm sorry.
All right, that's fine. Let's move on. All right, Ron.
I'll say streaming with ads. Because I don't ever really see myself watching this movie again.
I would say streaming with ads. Now,
that's racist, Miles.
But
you piece of shit.
A lot of that is because I have heard so many, critiques from my friends who know a lot about the original.
By the way, this is pretty much like critically the Arcane of musicals this year. so it's going to be pretty similar in terms of like
if we're drawing in those musical fans and everything. First of all, thank you for sticking around this long.
I'm not saying that In the Heights is necessarily bad. I'm just saying that I didn't connect with it as much as I would have liked to, and part of that does have to do because I'm just a white boy,
Okay.
but more of it's because I've heard so much about the stage play. And I feel like some of the creative choices that they made for it aren't as. Well, I would have stuck more with some of the original stuff from the original.
Right, and we would have like a 3-hour plus film.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally that'd be great, but it's not possible.
It was already a freaking long film.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or not.
And for the record, I do want to say it is on my rating too. It is a good movie. I just didn't connect to it.
And also, really quick, I would just say if I would rate it just in terms of music that I'm going to listen to later, because that's how I tend to do these things. In the Heights is number one.
Oh,
it's the music I would listen to. I would listen to later, and I'm gonna like revisit, which I did after the first time I watched it. So,
I do love the music of it. We'll get that.
Maybe I'll need some time for West Side Story for me to really love it, but it's.
For now, that's fine. That's
okay.
Fine. All right, let's get into
Philip,
it.
What's your
for me? Fuck you guys on the shelf. Okay, let's go with Tick Tick Boom. All right, next one.
High on the shelf, like Criterion, the full package.
Perfect.
Loved it.
For Tick Tick Boom, originally I put it premium. I think I'd bump it up to on the shelf. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I would put this on the shelf as well. Not much more to say about it. I love the music. I thought it was one of Andrew Garfield's best performances, but it wasn't my favorite movie that he has been in. I'll just put it that way.
Yeah. For me, because of the just average visuals, I put it in the shit bucket. I'm just kidding. Of course, I love this film. It really is. That's the only thing holding me back from putting it in the museum.
That's racist.
It's on the shelf. It's
you
amazing.
piece of shit.
I love this film quite a bit. It offends me the fuck that he put it on my game. It's a favorite fucking song. Okay,
wait, would you get the Criterion if that happened?
Yeah, fuck yes.
Okay.
Oh, I would totally love to see. Just like I like to see first time directors and stuff. Yeah. I already saw. They already released a 13-minute video of him directing it, and he admits that first-time director, not as much, right? But all right, go on. West Side Story, 1961. I just want no explanations. We talked about it. Just
premium
boom,
streaming.
Boom. Wait, what?
Premium streaming.
Wait, for somebody who said I love this film.
It's got some problematic parts to it.
Okay, fine, that's fair. You
interesting? Fuck. I'm gonna say premium streaming, but.
We just recently.
I know
there's
a fucking there's some kind of animal scratching at the door. Anyway, I'll say on a personal level, premium streaming, but I would say like a technical level and everything else, I would put it on the shelf because I do want to own it.
Not in the museum.
No, not
for on a personal level. I say, but in terms of like just
premium streaming's a good rating.
In terms of everything that it's done, yes, I understand why it'd be in the museum, but. Personally, I don't know.
Oh, no, that's fine. Your personal rating,
I'll put it
your technical rating.
Technical rating, I'm gonna put it in the museum because I don't know. I think, dare I say that what's it called? Singing in the Rain came out 10 years earlier, and it did a lot of the stuff that this movie did. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah.
I know. He's looking at me.
I do love Singing in the Rain, though. I think that is great.
Dodging daggers.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though I don't really. This isn't one of my favorite movies, and I normally wouldn't put it in the museum, but I'm going to put this one in the museum just because of what it represents historically in terms of, what it is. It really...
That's racist.
Like I said, I don't really like the 1961 version. It's okay, but I think that it really defined a generation of musical films, and for that reason alone, it does deserve a place in the museum.
I agree with that. For the same reasons, it's in the museum, technically, personally in the museum. But oddly enough, my actual critic rating of it, numerical, was 6 out of 10, mainly because all those problematic elements for the narrative and everything. But because of what it did and the way it hit me and stuff like that, it's like a 6 or 7. Yeah, let's go. But in the museum on both ends. Mm-hmm. All right, let's go. West Story 2021. You.
Premium streaming.
Okay, you.
On the shelf.
You.
This one goes on the premium streaming, actually.
Really?
Okay, so
number 6.
Miles always has an essay to explain.
number 6, because you were talking about this your number 6 film, and that's premium streaming.
So
I don't.
Okay, so
better
this is a weird one because it's one of my give it a watch ratings because it's definitely worth a watch, but I don't think it's worth a rewatch. It's not.
I'm actually going to rewatch it
It's
on
not
Monday.
something that I would keep on my shelf. I thought it was a great film. It's
You don't want to see all the
improved.
technical BTS.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I were to
It's
rewatch
significant.
either of these, it's gonna be the
Yeah.
new
It is a
one.
new one, yeah.
Okay, it's significantly improved on the previous West Side Story, but I don't think that the changes and improvements were so spectacular that it was able to kind of redefine the film. So because
You really don't think so? I think
the
power
most
back
I could,
to the
okay,
Sharks.
the most I could put it was on the shelf. It's like low on the shelf for me. It's not
Okay.
really, okay. No, but I'm just saying it's not really my type of movie. I'm not really a big musical guy,
That's fine.
and it just, and I just wanted to make the point that even though I think that this is significantly better than the original 1961 version, I don't think that it's able to occupy that same space in film history, and I don't think that it's as important of a film as the 1961.
I mean, yeah, of
one.
course not, because it's
Yeah,
so further removed from it. But yeah,
I know, but it's weird. I just want to mention that where it's like even though this is better, it's not enough better to make it
I think I disagree with
spectacularly
that.
special.
I think they
Yeah.
improved on almost every aspect of
They
it.
did, but
Yeah.
it's
it's significantly better. Because I
yes,
think
it is
Steven-
it's weird.
It
Has
is,
Steven Spielberg
but
does
at the
another
same
musical
time,
before
it's-
this? Did we even mention
No,
that?
no, he had musical elements into it, but he was scared of making musicals. Apparently,
Huh.
but he said this was the one that like he's.
Then he looked in the mirror and he was like, "Fuck, I'm Steven Spielberg. Why not?"
I know, exactly. He's just like, yeah, Steven Spielberg is scared of a musical. All right, so for what's it called? For me, it's like I said, it's I love West Side Story a lot, but the fact is that I love this version more, surprisingly, because like, and I think this technically, even though I had La La Land as my number one, we didn't even talk about our favorite musical films outside, which we're gonna say in a bit.
Chicago.
Well, Chicago's really good too. Yeah.
Tommy.
Yeah, I think La La Land was like, and I mean, there's Chicago too. We're up there on like a technical, artistic level and stuff like that. But this one just the way John Krasinski shoots the fuck out of it. It's very old school Hollywood too in the way it does, and also with Steven Spielberg's handling of the shots, the framing, and just improvement on Tony Kushner on every little aspect of it. Like it's in the museum for me because I do feel like going on forward more musical adaptations, I think it reigns like top of the top of musical theater adaptations out there. And Chicago being another one of them. One day we'll cover Chicago. Yeah,
You should have been there.
because I bet you they'll remake Chicago again, like 20 years down the line.
You
the
should
weird
have
thing
seen
is,
it.
I thought that Tick Tick Boom was better than West Side Story.
You might
this
think
year,
personally, but
which-
technically, come on.
Yeah,
it's,
I was gonna-
it's
okay,
impossible
okay.
to not admit. Technically, this is like
It's like if I'm
No,
gonna rewatch
it's
any of these,
technically
it's probably Tick Tick Boom.
It's the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
enjoyable on a
it's
narrative level,
enjoyable.
for
Yeah.
sure.
I'm talking about like
Yeah.
just
It's
technically.
the most nuanced, like story-wise and emotion-wise
yes.
too.
So, but
Yeah,
Yeah,
West
no, I
Side
agree with
Story,
that.
West Side Story, yeah, but it is good. It is like a well-made movie. Like I'm not even like that hot about it. Like I like it, but I mostly just like the music. But yeah, it's undeniably a really well-made movie.
Yeah, like technically, it's the best.
no,
Like,
and
all the films, like just like from the shots, cinematography, the sets. And,
yeah.
I mean, it's cheating because there's $100 million budget, but
yeah.
yeah.
It's supposed to be a musical, and
You mean there wasn't enough music in
no,
that?
no, I hate to be
Where are
harsh.
you going into
Wait,
this?
it's not that there wasn't enough
You're digging
music.
yourself into a hole.
No, it's not that there wasn't enough music. I just don't think that the music was as spectacular as it could have been. I feel like
Wait, they use the
it
exact
was-
same music from the West Side Story and Leonard Emergency.
Yeah, guess what though? People sing. There's a thing called singing, and I didn't think that the singing performances that were done in this movie were as spectacular as other movies that are out there.
well,
in the
that's
ecosystem.
different.
Oh, that's
That's
fine.
a
That's-
valid.
And I think
that's a-
that's
argument
very
to make.
important to
Argument.
mention there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to the singing, I've seen some
so you think-
amazing singers out there, and I didn't think that they were able to hit that.
I disagree with you there, but that's at least a fair point. At least you're going somewhere with that.
No.
You were wrong. Okay, so thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching another episode.
Stay
where,
cool.
Listening.
What's it called? Or listening to another episode. Thank you.
Idiot.
What's it called? And then me just like shitting on everybody here. And be angry mood right now. What's it called? And
It's sub-zero temperature right now, guys. You
And-
really
and
don't know.
Remember,
You know-
when we hit 500 subscribers, we'll do a live Q&A.
was gonna say Miles says he's not cold, but his toes are turning blue.
They are turning blue. They're already blue.
All right. Thank you guys. Listen to our next episode. Upcoming one, it will be Succession.
Catch you on the next
if you guys
one.
see this one, it'll be just Miles and me in that one. But thank you guys, and listen
Succession.
to our next one. See you. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.